Yeah, man. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man. We're gonna go down the rabbit hole. Oh yeah. Enough of that, bro. On this episode of Larry Beats, we're gonna go down the rabbit hole. We're gonna explore a couple things, man. We're gonna revisit my last episode where we were talking about Antarctica because I gotta explain a couple things, man. And we got a couple new things over here. I'm the type, man. I'll come over here, man, expecting 1 million views, man. I'm just doing my thing, bro. I guess I got a dry channel, you know what I mean? Yo. We're gonna revisit my last show, man. There's a lot of things to break down, man. And you know what we're gonna do over here, bro. We're gonna not the last one, the one before that, but man, let's see how far we get. In this edition of Larry Beach 247, man, we're gonna get back into Antarctica. We're gonna touch on we're gonna do a breakdown. Eventually we're gonna get to Rob Schneider. We definitely gotta go back and revisit Admiral Richard E. Byrd. I got the original interview that he did after he was. So basically he had a situation when he came back, and I can't find the other one, but I got the original one when he went and did it overseas and people went to interview him. And you could tell. We're gonna say what I have to say about that, but we got Admiral Byrd. I think I want to play the one before. We're gonna go back to my whole episode because I wanna clear a lot of things. My dumbass was muted at a couple of times, man. So I wanna we're gonna talk about some things over here, bro. You know what I mean? We got Sean Ryan's show. We got the Y Files. What else do we got? Man, but we're gonna get into it, man. Not sure we're gonna go all the way, man, but this could get interesting. I was looking for the geomagnetic locations of the pyramids, and I cannot find the right video. So we might have to make a different show about that because I want to break that down. However, I do got the Giza pyramids and the new findings, right? The one that I got shows what they found. I did not go all the way through that video. So that is a new video we're going to explore together. What else? I think that's what we got, bro. I think that's what we got, So slowly but surely, man, let's start the show, man. Let's start the show, bro. Let's start the show. And we're gonna get to the intro in a minute. Is that all I think that's all the topics. I do. Okay. I didn't want to load too much. Man, because I want to take my time because we gotta process this information, right? This is the type of things that I'm into. Larry Beach is into the stars, history, science, um, aliens, flat Earth, all that stuff. You know what I mean? We will be. I'll drop the link after the intro. In case anybody got, if you want to come also talk about the topics, you know what I'm saying? I should probably we have to touch on the Antarctic Treaty. It's very important to bring that back because I wanna revise. So we're gonna start with my last show because I want to break it down just to give you a back information of what I'm talking about. The reason for doing this show is to explain what I was talking about in that show because I was getting too many ideas. I didn't have the proper videos. I like to bring videos, at least to show you from professionals and stuff. You know what I mean? Like scientists, archaeologists, you know what I mean? Like researchers and stuff, stuff that, will take us down the rabbit hole. I know it's past, but happy Easter to everybody. I know that, it's the next day, but it's still today, right? So, I would like to okay. We'll start with my stuff first because we gotta revisit because otherwise it's not gonna make any sense. I have Admiral. I got it queued up where they're speaking about Admiral Byrd, Richard E. Byrd. You know what I mean? He was the leader of Operation High Jump. All right. This is well-known facts, right? They try to silence him, and he had to go to like Chile or something. That's where the interview happened. They went over there and did the interview, and I got it for you right here. So I think I'm gonna start with what was on my show, the prior time, and then so we can explain, right? That would be the right trajectory. However, man, welcome everybody, man. Let's get ready for this, bro. All right, let's get ready for this. Let's get ready for the intro, man. All right. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Welcome. You know what I mean? We're gonna do our thing. Welcome to my little channel. You know what I mean? Hopefully, with hard work and dedication, we're gonna go to the top. That's what we headed. That's the goal. So now we're gonna get into my intro, man. We're gonna go wild. I mean, there's a lot of information. I managed to pull. There's a couple videos I didn't find, but we get it together. It's your boy Larry B's 247 from the Ride Money Crew, Dirty Mitten Boys, Dirty Denim Squad. We're international because of Hollywood. Now leader, founder, and creator of the Guana Iguala Koala Coalition. Holla out your top guala. And we getting into it, man. Let's go, baby. Yeah, man.
Yeah, Mama.
Hello.
Troublemaker there back, you know.
I'm here dealing with bigger things.
So why you say football?
Hey, what you do? Let the pinks them deal with it. And take it to the VP.
Cool to this. Boy, I can't play them, you know that. You are the man them go dog. Up here. Yeah, that we know, yeah, who that brother? You know him, who that brother? Some man bring God down at town, man. You see, troublemaker that man, in the bad. Yeah, man, I do the
Bombo clad. Yeah, Jack,
Ready
go on your
ready
shit.
for this? Let's
Juju
go.
1 million.
We going down the rabbit hole, bro.
Yeah. Yo, Waterhouse.
Are we good? Are we good?
Yo, Josla. De La Vega. Them never kill nobody yet. Good you, them a trouble them a make.
Okay.
Even if you was a bag, you are no threat. You gonna run pussy anywhere me there. Reach for me goal quicker
Yeah,
than
man.
Messi sweaty crep. Real gal a Veronica Reggie get. Love you be miss me fit cigarette. Me marry, but then they grab a left. Love the lungs in my chest. YOLO, me no left the 50 like me name. Damn me porno 5 shot a keep me Nelly Teddy have the portfolio. Cairo here, hold your shot a ring, California. You no value nothing, done your free pro porno. Me no left the 50 like me name. Damn me porno 5 shot a keep me Nelly Teddy have the portfolio. Cairo here, hold your shot a ring, California. Don't tell me about send the girl a whore. Me know things for your mother when you do it.
Yeah, man.
The most. Bad brother, see if I make a toast. Maybe live forever, nothing close to a ghost. Coaching me make a post with the course. Put it on me Twitter, girl approach me the most. Married woman tell me say she close for divorce. Husband approach. YOLO, me no left the 50 like me name. Damn me porno 5 shot a keep me Nelly Teddy have the portfolio. Cairo here, hold your shot a ring, California. You no value nothing, done your free pro porno. Me no left the 50 like me name. Damn me porno 5 shot a keep me Nelly Teddy have the portfolio. Cairo here, hold your shot a ring, California. Water for the train. Shoot boy when them violate na them face. Nyam them food, nah say no grace. Wait. Ugly face badness a back in the days. Laugh and shot them 1 in 9 meals. Nyam them food, nah say no grace. Wait. Ugly face badness a back in the days. Laugh and shot them 1 in 9 meals.
Yeah, look again. Are we breathing? Are we breathing? Are we
YOLO, me no left the 50 like me name. Damn me porno 5 shot a keep me Nelly Teddy have the portfolio. Cairo here, hold your shot a ring, California. You no value nothing, done your free pro porno. Me no left the 50 like me name. Damn me porno 5 shot a keep me Nelly Teddy have the portfolio. Cairo here, hold your shot a ring, California. You no value nothing, done your free. YOLO, me no left the 50 like me name. Damn me porno 5 shot a keep me Nelly Teddy have the portfolio. Cairo here, hold your shot a ring, California. You no value nothing, done your free pro porno. Me no left the 50 like me name. Damn me porno 5 shot a keep me Nelly Teddy have the portfolio. Cairo here, hold your shot a ring, California.
And you think I'm not gonna shit on some fighters? Yeah. Oh shit! Hold on. Let's go. Okay. Here we go. We're gonna go down. What I was trying your boy Larry did a show, man, and I kept muting myself because I didn't want to but I left it muted, right? So we got a couple clips over here. I think we can start right here. This is when they start explaining. So last night I was talking about Operation High Jump, Antarctica, and Admiral E. Byrd, right? Richard E. Byrd. So we're gonna revisit that just to give you a little background, but I got some new information just to explain it better, right? So we're gonna get into this. We're over here talking about, for one, motivation, inspiration, all that stuff. Aliens, flat Earth, inner Earth, the space. You gotta believe that the Earth is not flat, even though I'm not a flat earther. Yo, man, you got some interesting points, so I will entertain it. You know what I mean? Different races, you know what I mean? Because we think that we're the number one race on Earth. We're not, you know? We're not the number one race, bro. We we just something walking around. You know what I mean? Anybody know like the Earth name? Like it goes by Gaia, right? So listen, we don't know where we're going. We're just gonna talk about some topics and stuff, right? I'll drop the link, but let me get through this in case anybody wanna join the conversation. We're not here to bring nobody down. We're not here for negativity. We just wanna theorize. Put on your tin hat. Put on. Yo, I was gonna make a tin hat and be on live, but I was like, yo, that's too much. I might though. I might though. So basically, we're gonna start with my old show that I did, the one that I muted myself. All right. So I think right after this, it's gonna go into Admiral E. Bird, right? It's gonna explain. It might it's Operation High Jump. It might say something about that, but it's gonna explain a little bit. And as soon as we get just a little snippet of it, we're gonna move on to the actual interview that he did. Now, I don't know if this part will show or say how because he had a security clearance, right? And I don't know if this is gonna hey, what's up? Evil Kanye. I don't know who evil Kanye is, man. 420, man. Salute, bro. Yo, that's funny, man. I don't think Kanye is evil, but that's funny, bro. I can sort of understand Kanye. I don't know, bro. But anyway, so let's go. Let's start this. So now we're reviewing something I did in order for me to explain, right? So we can get to it, right? So I think it goes to right into Admiral Ebird right here. Let's go. Yeah, man, I'm at my house, man. They can't get to me. I'm just kidding, bro. All right, this one right here. Let's see. Let's make sure that we get. Okay, so this is Motec, right? My screen's too big, man. This screen that I'm sharing right now is too big. I gotta move things around, so I have to shorten it like this. There might be a loading process. Let me make sure that we don't get some stupid shit. So we're going deep, man. It sounds better. It plays better. So I'm gonna go with. Okay, I remember this part. So what are we doing here? What we're doing here, I think right here they explain who Admiral is. Admiral Richard E. Byrd. All right. We're gonna talk about Antarctica. We're gonna talk about this person has to do with the military. One of the most decorated military persons. This has to be like a 19 the 1950s and 40s and stuff, right? So I gotta let it play so we can break it. Okay, you see? Okay, this is why we're gonna be reviewing and speaking about this. I thought about this. I should have just dropped the Antarctic Treaty. That's very important to understand this. So we're gonna go to the Antarctic Treaty. We'll play a little bit of this. Let's see, just so you know what's going on. The treaty was signed in 1959. And a lot of people, if you know, the regular person like you and I is not allowed to go to Antarctica, right? And people ask why. So you can go to Antarctica. There's like a setup, like you can go to Antarctica. You can go, but they take you to a special place. Antarctica is divided in a lot of different regions. Damn, I should have. You see, now I'm getting more ideas. I should have gotten the map. So everybody thinks the reason for this is because of the wall. People say there's a wall. It could be. I've been there. The wall in Antarctica, right? Dude, we're gonna go down. We're not gonna break down the wall and stuff today. But we're gonna talk about Antarctica, specifically Antarctica, okay? And then we'll expand later on, all right? So I'll let him explain the treaty real quick. Let's see what you got to say. Yeah, yo, you know that. Hey,
Strangely enough,
you
there's
know.
left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being.
That's the Admiral. I got that interview for you right now. That interview that you saw with the Admiral, I got it. That's going to be next. Right? That's going to be next. Okay.
Of raw materials left in the world. That's in the region known as Antarctica.
As I said, it's the most peaceful place in the world, but I don't think it will be for long.
The American government is sending a naval expedition to that region.
Bottom of the world will be important, not only to us, but to our allies. It has to do with the future of the nation, those to come after us.
Yep. So basically, all 12 countries around the world at the time, they were doing scientific experiments. This is what they claim. This is the information. This is what they claim. And they signed a treaty where nobody could invade Antarctica. Now, my thing is this. Bro. Other older civilizations lived there. They lived there because it was hard for us to get there. Eventually, we got there, and we'll talk about the Nazis later because they went down there, right? So now, I hope this is the part where they explain how he went down there and stuff. So let's go.
In the first half of the 20th century, Antarctic exploration paralleled the battlefront ideology. While war waged in the Pacific and Atlantic, nations ventured to Antarctica to tap into its untouched reservoirs of coal, petroleum, and minerals. In 1907, Great Britain made the first claim to the Antarctic, igniting a period of exploration and conquest. By 1943, 7 nations had collectively claimed 80% of the continent, and some claims overlapped. In the high-stakes nuclear landscape following World War II, the risk of conflict in Antarctica intensified.
It was right there. Because you have to remember there was a race war on the world. Different continents were competing for certain things, especially the United States against the Soviet Union. That's going to be a different topic. You see, there's so much to break down. We're going to stay on this, though. Let's go.
The very real threat of the nuclear war. My father created this policy of the mutual destruction. Then he told, we have to build enough weapons to destroy American infrastructure.
The view of nations at that time was that if we are going to explore the Antarctic, that we ought not to encourage any country to arm those areas.
Leading the charge against the militarization of the Antarctic was United States President Dwight D. Eisenhower. Attempting to ease the hostility between the United States and the USSR.
That one I have to stop because Eisenhower has been known. They say that he signed a treaty with the aliens. We get into that later, bro. I just want to drop that as we go because it'll help me come back with the topics. All right, let's go.
Eisenhower supported the International Council of Scientific Unions and the creation of the International Geophysical Year from 1957 to 1958.
The most important result of the International Geophysical Year is the demonstration of the ability of peoples of all nations to work together harmoniously for the common good.
As part of the International Geophysical Year, scientists from around the world collaborated to study climate and marine life in Antarctica. When the year came to a close, controversy erupted among the United States government regarding whether to continue cooperation with the USSR.
The Soviet Union. Let's go.
Senators were captivated by the anti-communist Red Scare, which had begun to dominate the American political climate. But Eisenhower, having worked closely with the Soviets as a World War II commander, had a different perspective.
And so he is somebody who knew the problems in dealing with the Soviets, and he also knew the possibilities. A lot of Americans knew nothing about the possibilities.
And there were 90 secret meetings in the United States during the late 1950s with the Soviet Union.
Okay, don't get mad at me. According to YouTube, there's rules and regulations, this works for me because you have to be able to stop it. You can't play things long enough and you know what I mean. You got to be able because we analyzing. They want you to They got rules and regulations. I know the rules. So this is very important right here because this is during we still had the Soviet Union, right? So try to understand, man, what's going on here.
Ruling his Joint Chiefs of Staff, Eisenhower conducted these secret meetings to negotiate the terms of the treaty.
Secret.
Despite persistent controversy, the treaty was signed on December 1st, 1959 by all 12 nations from the International Geophysical Year.
Boom. Those are the 12 countries that signed the treaty, right? Those are the 12 countries that signed the treaty. Now, this is very important. This is very important because somebody, another study said that we will have, even though we're close to having another war right now, they said we will have World War III when the Antarctic Treaty is broken. I can't quote who said it, man, but there was a study about that. So these are the countries that originally signed the deal. Not only that. At certain periods of time, government officials from each one of these countries traveled to Antarctica to have a meeting. A meeting with who? And this is what I said on my prior show. And this is where I get into my conspiracy, right? A meeting with who? A meeting with the older generation that was here. Basically, I say they're going to meet with the boss, right? And this is not going to be broken down over here. I know John Kerry went down there. I know the Pope went down there. I know a lot of, at a certain time, there was something going on and they went down there, right? So let's go. Let's go.
The treaty ensured that scientists would be able to collaborate and exchange data easily. It also banned nuclear testing, storage, or disposal on the continent. The land was forever to be used exclusively for peaceful purposes.
That's what they said.
As the world's first non-armament agreement, the Antarctic Treaty has served as a critical framework for subsequent treaties. Addressing the United Nations in 1960, President Eisenhower proposed that the principles of the Antarctic Treaty be applied to outer space.
The nations of the world.
Listen to that. I'm telling you, they say Eisenhower was one of the people that signed a treaty with an entity, not only of this planet, but another entity that came from outside. They signed a treaty like for peace because we went, and I'm gonna get into Robert Snyder. It'll explain it better. All right. So let's go with this, and then we gotta get into Admiral. All right, let's go.
The world have recently united in declaring the continent of Antarctica off limits to military preparations. We could extend this principle to an even more important sphere.
After 7 years of deliberation, his proposal eventually resulted in the Outer Space Treaty, with outer space joining Antarctica as an international zone, free from international discord or national appropriation. In fact, nearly 95% of environmental and ecosystem treaties were signed after the Antarctic Treaty, indicating the treaty's success as a catalyst for further global cooperation.
Okay, I think we can stop that one right there. Basically, I wanted to show that so you can get a little bit of background, because they always say that it's because of research and natural preservation of the environment and stuff like that. But there's been so many discoveries down there. It's confusing, right? And not only that, remember that we're not allowed to go there. You can go there, but you can go to a little part, and you got to get permits and everything. But like every country has research centers and all that. The only, in my belief, this is where we go down the rabbit hole. In my belief, is because they located an ancient civilization. Now, and we're gonna get into that later, right? So that is buried under the ice. But not only that, there's certain areas in there. There's, if you think about hollow earth, there's entrances and stuff like that, right? So I think let's get into now that we said that straight, that is the Antarctic Treaty, right? I want to let me see, Admiral. Can we find the Admiral? Because I want to find like Operation High Jump. I had it in here with Admiral because they send him over there. It was supposed to be an exploration, right? He's the most trusted at the time. Supposed to be an exploration. The big question is, why did you have to go down there with a whole army? And you went over there with a purpose, and they say that you came back early. So the operation finished early. You know, what they say was they were They say they were doing an exploration. They were looking to test out like planes and how boats and planes react in the cold weather and stuff like that. But the real some whistleblowers said, "Ah, listen, man, I'm just going off what I read." They said that they encounter they were looking for Nazis. They never said that. Which the Nazis went down there. That's a whole different show. But instead, they found what the Nazis were looking for, which was a different entity, right? And they ran him out. They ran him out. The same thing that happened in the moon. That's another show. Okay. So I want to know, like, if I can find Admiral Ebert, where they explain like how many ships he went down there with. He went with a whole fleet. We're not even gonna waste time on that, man. Let's go to the interview of Admiral Ebert right here. Where did I put it, man? Let's go. That's not it. No, that's not it. Oh, come on. Oh, I found it. Right here, right here, right here, right here. So I had to, man, it took me so long to find this. Superman's Force of Solitude. I'll check that out, bro. Yo, bro, they scrubbed this. They scrubbed this out, bro, and it took me so long to find it. This is the original interview after Admiral Ebert went down with a whole fleet, a whole army. They're like, "Oh, we're doing research." What? And the question is, why did you go down there with the whole army? And then they finished the project early. They got ran out. That's what happened, bro. All right, we're gonna get to that in a minute. But this is one of the original interviews after, because when he came back, he was talking. He was on the security clear. He had a clearance, but he was not supposed to be talking. And I don't know what happened, but they silenced him. And then he left the country. He went to like Chile. I believe it's Chile. I keep saying that. It's either Peru or Chile, but I believe I was trying to find the exact paper, but I found the interview. Thank God. I was looking for this. So this is prior the treaty. This is before they signed the treaty, right? And this is we're gonna listen to what he has to say and watch his demeanor. He's being very careful as to what he has to say, right? Let's talk about this right here. Are we going? Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
It's time for the Longines Chronoscope, a television journal of the important issues of the hour, brought to you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. A presentation of the Longines Whitnor Watch Company, maker of Longines, the world's most honored watch, and Whitnor, distinguished companion to the world-honored Longines. Good evening. This is Frank Knight. May I introduce our co-editors for this edition of the Longines Chronoscope? Larry Lasser, CBS News correspondent, and Kenneth Crawford, National Affairs Editor of Newsweek magazine. Our very distinguished guest for this evening is Admiral Richard E. Byrd.
The North Pole used to be a no man's land, but these are the days when, by buying a ticket on a commercial airliner, you can fly across the North Pole and drink a cocktail at the same time. You know, only 30 or more years ago, about 35 years ago, our guest tonight found out whether there was any land north of the North American continent. He made that first discovery flight, and I must say that Admiral Byrd, our guest tonight, is not only our greatest living explorer.
Okay, I told you we have to do pauses because of YouTube regulations, right? And I'm glad, because we're going to get into what he saw, because this interview does not pertain. This is after they silenced him, right? Because we're gonna get into what he saw down there, bro. What he found, right? Okay, let's finish with this. Let's go with this, bro.
But he's been an inspiration to countless Americans. Admiral Byrd, you've been to both the North Pole and the South Pole. Is there any unexplored land left on this earth that might appeal to adventurous young Americans?
Yes, there is. And not up around the North Pole, because it's getting crowded up there now, because they find out it's really usable, not only to live in, but militarily. But strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being. and that's beyond the pole on the other side of the South Pole from Middle America. And I think it's quite astonishing that there should be an area as big as that unexplored.
That's a tremendous
So
challenge.
there's a lot of adventure left down at the bottom of the world.
Well, Admiral, do you hope to see that?
Listen how he speaks.
Well, Admiral,
Yeah.
would you say that since you've been to both
What's his
extremities
demeanor?
of Earth, are these expeditions to such far-off places, are they getting easier because of modern techniques, or is danger still close at hand?
Well, it's a little risky, but nothing like it used to be with the old slow planes and the small cruising radius where we had to put down bases. We replaced the dog teams, and of course that was a big improvement. But now the planes go much faster and they are safer, and they have a much bigger cruising radius. You haven't got the danger of a terribly heavy load.
Admiral, an expedition to which I believe you're the advisor is now en route. What is that expedition doing?
Well, that's the icebreaker Atka, and it's a reconnaissance expedition. It's going down to the South Pole area to make certain observations and to look for some bases. They will be back in April, and they will report back, and upon the information we get from that undertaking, we will base the bigger expedition that's to follow.
Is that very definitely planned, or is that...
That is being planned right now. So I'm willing to say to you that there will be a number of expeditions that will follow, I think, year after year, bottom of the world, because the government has really become interested.
Well, Admiral Byrd, I can understand, I think everybody can, the interest in the North Pole because it's so near our greatest challenger, Soviet Russia. But why this interest in the bottom of the world?
Notice that he said that about the North Pole, but he brought it back down to the South. We're talking about Antarctica because he's also explored the North Pole. And he brought it right back. He mentioned the government and all that, the interest and all the operations that's going on, and they went to look for bases, right? You got to pick up hints here because we're going to break this down. Let's go.
Nobody living down there, is there?
No, it's pretty cold. There's only one permanent resident, that's the emperor penguin. The little ones live further north. I tell you one reason they're interested. It's by far the most valuable, important place left in the world for science. That's why the scientific groups all over the nation are really interested.
He's doing cover.
But more important than that, it has to do with the future of the nation, those to come after us, or even during your lifetime. Because it happens to be an untouched reservoir of natural resources. And, as the world shrinks with an ever-increasing acceleration, far-flung places, once useless, like we thought the North Pole was, and no man's land, become very useful. The bottom of the world will be important, not only to us, but to our allies.
I was going to ask you, does it have military importance?
It has some, and as the world shrinks, it will continue to shrink with an ever-increasing acceleration, thus bringing these places closer. And in the future, I can see a time when it will be very, very important strategically.
Well, has the development of air power increased the strategic importance of places like the
very much
Parma Peninsula? We'll say?
Very much so. Even now, if anything happened and we lost the Panama Canal, we would have to control the islands just north of Antarctica, which are part of Antarctica. Then between them,
keep that in mind.
I've heard it said that there are 7 continents in the world, and one of them has never been seen by a woman, and that's Antarctica. Is that actually true?
All right.
Well, if the
remember, this is the old school, bro. They're gonna crack a bad joke right here, bro. I'm gonna let them do it.
Parma Peninsula is an island. As far as I know, that's true. No woman's ever stepped foot upon the Antarctic continent, and it's the most peaceful place in the world.
Well, I'm sure that won't last very long.
How they laugh.
I understand now that you're working with the Arnold Bread Company in charge of frozen foods. Now, is there any future for frozen foods down these frozen extremities?
Well, I think the human race can be helped by that. This was thought out by Dean Arnold, who's, in my opinion,
talking about
humanitarian.
He talked about frozen foods. There's a seed bank in Antarctica. The World Seed Bank is in Antarctica, bro. Bro.
I learned that we went down there after 4 or 5 years.
Nah, don't do me like this, bro. Let's
and
go.
finished a meal that we had left there on the table when we had evacuated Little America. Everything was perfect, including the bread. So he got the idea of this frozen bread, and already he sent some to Europe, and it worked very well over there to some of the starving people. So you can store it down in the Antarctic and against the lean years, and you wouldn't have any people in the world really starving if you did that.
Yes, in the event of an atomic war.
You stay there forever.
Admiral, you speak of the resources of Antarctica. What are they? What are the natural resources there?
Well, we've found enough coal within 180 miles of the South Pole in a great ridge of mountains. It's not covered with snow, enough to supply the whole world for quite a while.
Well,
that's the coal. Now, there's evidence of many other minerals. We are pretty sure there's oil. Now, that coal shows the bottom of the world. Now, by far the coldest spot in the world. Where that coal is gets 100 below zero in the winter.
Well,
it was once tropical. So we think there's oil there, and there's evidence, probably uranium there.
Is it any secret?
He stopped himself. He said the word tropical because, and the other stuff that I'm going to show you is when they silenced him because he actually told more, bro. He was flying. This man right here was exploring on a plane, and he found an area that was tropical. It was not supposed to be there, man. It was green pastures and everything. He stepped into a part of the world. Yo, do you guys ever believe that? This is why I entertain the flat earth thing. You ever believe that there's more land in the world that we weren't told about, and they try to exclude it from us, bro? You know what I mean? He flew and he spoke too soon in the prior interview. This is the second one. He being careful, and he slipped right there, bro. And he being very careful. Look at it. Look at his demeanor, man. Look at his demeanor. And he's trying to be careful because he knows. He knows, bro. Let's go.
Is there uranium there? That would be the only thing that would be practical to actually go after, I suppose. Everything else would be economically unfeasible, wouldn't it?
Well, as we recklessly expend our resources, the time will come when we'll have to go after that stuff down there. Well, I avoided what you said about uranium. I'm not sure about that. I don't want to have the world fighting over the Antarctic.
And is there a competition among other nations to try to get information about Antarctica and possibly to secure some of these resources?
Yeah. Well, yes. There are now 7 nations very much interested.
Why?
Russia is interested.
Why, bro?
That I'm sure of. Australia has an expedition down there. The Argentine, the Chile, New Zealand, Britain, and so on. Now, you can understand those people down there being interested because they live down there. The New Zealanders, the Argentinians, the Chileans, and the Australians. And so we don't do much about claiming anything.
Bro, this all started because of the Nazis, bro. When the Nazis vanished, bro, when they disappeared, they broke out, bro. They like, nah, you ain't getting this. They tell you that they caught Hitler. They never caught Hitler, bro. The body that they had, that they claim it was Hitler, turned out to be a female body, bro. If you believe in that, if you still believe in that, you know what I mean? Yo, there's still settlements and towns because they ran to South America because the Nazis were the first one that went over there, man, and they were fascinated with with all that, like they build a bell and all that. They were fascinated with that stuff. I'm not bigging on the Nazis, man. We gotta talk facts, bro. What led them there? They were looking for the Aryan race, which is the Nordic, right? And they speak one of the tales that they talk about the tall whites, right? They were looking for them, right? And what the purpose was, they wanted to go down there, contact them, and try to negotiate some kind of deal so they can get technology so they can fight the war. They ran down there, right? Listen, look up New Schwabenland. That is real, bro. In Argentina, bro, they got settlements over there, bro. There's documentaries made out of this, but they just don't make it public, right? This started because of the race. I told you there was a race, like everybody was raising countries and whatever. This remember the times, you know, bro. There's so many hidden truths in here, and this is why I love this kind of stuff, man. So we can, we could talk about this. Hey, I'm gonna drop the link after this one. I got another video, but let's get through this. Let's see. Hold on.
Admiral, you make us sound a little crowded. Are there that many expeditions now there or en route there?
Well, you know, as I said, it's the most peaceful place in the world, but I don't think it will be for long because of this intense interest on the part of other nations and this nation.
Well, Admiral Byrd, are private expeditions a thing of the past? Is expedition and exploration, making expedition and exploration now purely a government function because of the tremendous cost and organization?
I don't think so. I think down south, it may be more or less a thing of the past, but not other expeditions that go. There's a lot of them go north now.
This latest expedition now on the way is a government expedition, I take it.
Yes, that's the government.
Admiral, may I ask you, is there a great difference between the top of the world and the bottom of the world?
There is. Now, the North Pole is the center of an ocean 10,000 feet deep. The South Pole, the center of a plateau 10,000 feet high. The North Polar Sea is surrounded by continents that are slightly frozen. The Antarctic continent is surrounded by a belt of ice, frozen seas of at least 1,200 miles thick. Now, the south is a plateau. It gets, in some places, 14,000 feet up. I've been over areas about 13,000, and it's a little bit chilly up there.
Success.
So there's that big difference between the top and bottom of the world. The North really isn't very cold up there on the Arctic Ocean.
Compared to the South. Admiral Byrd, we often hear it said that our young Americans now aren't as hardy as their forefathers. Do you think that Americans do measure up to the standards, the physical standards and morale standards of the past?
I do. I don't believe that. I think they're just as hardy.
Well, what would you say was the most valuable factor on expedition? Is it morale, or physical courage, or is it sheer equipment?
Well, I've always thought that loyalty was by far the most important trait. The British told me that when I first went down in 28, that I couldn't possibly get through the winter night without a mutiny if I took more than 20 men. But to serve science, I had to take 42 men. Then I took 56 the next time. and so on. So, and I did find that loyalty was the most important thing during the winter night when it's very hard on your nerves. I think that's straight.
Well, that's a very valuable characteristic at any time. Well, thank you very much, Admiral Byrd. It's been a great pleasure to have you here tonight.
It's a pleasure to be with you.
The opinions expressed on the Longines Chronoscope were those of the speakers. The editorial board for this edition of the Longines Chronoscope was Larry Lasser and Kenneth Crawford. Our distinguished guest was Admiral Richard E. Byrd. A Longines watch makes the most perfect Christmas gift. It has beauty, elegance, and enduring quality, and a universal reputation as just
Oh, bro, you see what I'm saying? God damn it, bro. Gotta stop doing this, dude. I do this out of respect, and I just keep myself muted. All right, so that's fine. I'm glad that we found this thing because we're gonna elaborate. We going down the rabbit hole. It don't matter. So because I saw that wasn't Graham. I don't know who that was. I know everybody hate Joe Rogan and whatever, bro. I don't really care, bro. Graham Hancock, right? It was Graham Hancock, right? I think. Okay. So we're done with Admiral Byrd, right? So we're not done with him because we gotta go. But I found the wheel, so let's follow up. Actually, let's stay on trajectory because I wanna make sure that it can make sense.
It can be a lonely road.
No, stop it. So right here, where's the whistleblower? Where is the whistleblower, bro? 1 second, please. Right here. It's gotta be on this window right here. Okay, where's the whistle?
about the finest.
That's the down. That's the end of the Admiral Byrd. So let's get into the whistleblower. Now, this one is from the Sean Ryan show. It's gonna be quick. Let's go.
Good evening, this is Frank Knight. May I introduce our co-editors for this edition of the Longines Chronoscope? Larry Lasser, CBS News correspondent, and Kenneth Crawford, National Affairs Editor of Newsweek magazine. Our very distinguished guest for this evening is Admiral Richard E. Byrd.
Antarctica Treaty of 1959. An agreement signed by 12 nations in which the Antarctic continent was made demilitarized to be preserved for scientific research. What do you think about that?
I must say that Admiral Byrd, our guest tonight, is not only our greatest living explorer, but he's been an inspiration to countless Americans. Admiral Byrd, you've been to both the North Pole and the South Pole. Is there any unexplored land left on this earth that might appeal to adventurous young Americans?
The interview that we saw?
Yes, there is.
He was also previously contracted by Raytheon Polar Services as a cook to work on a cat train that went across the ice, and he said the express purpose for him, I should say, for that team working for Raytheon was they were searching for missile site locations.
They find out it's really usable, not only to live in, but militarily.
The whole idea of this being demilitarized is a load of baloney.
But strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being. And that's beyond the pole on the other side of the South Pole, from Middle America. And I think it's quite astonishing because the government has really become interested. I tell you one reason they're interested. It's by far the most valuable, important place left in the world for science.
There's more to that. This is the Sean Ryan show right here, man. Dude, go look at this.
We're all
Look at
hooked
this
up, ready to
program.
go. Jump Master's got his arm up, getting ready to hit me in the back. And then we see shuffling, and I'm only one of 12 guys that I jump with every time.
He filed a classified complaint under oath, and the Intelligence Community Inspector General said that he found the complaint urgent and credible.
A guy from the back shuffles his way to the front, and it's one of the escorts. He is unmistakable. You can't. I mean,
Really?
You know.
Yeah.
I think it gives weight to a lot of the people that have come forward and talked about having direct firsthand experience. That should be investigated now.
The van that they had us in, it didn't have any windows. As soon as the door opened, it looked like a literal dump. That was a 45-degree concrete door. So we go inside, meet another escort in there, take us to this freight elevator. One of the guys looks at my dad and is saying to both of us, keep your head down, your eyes on the heels of the man in front of you, or you'll be shot. I get in there, and my dad's sitting at his couch, and everything is torn out. Everything is gone. I was like, do you think this has something to do with Range 19? And he stood up, that man you saw, and he said, don't you ever mention that name to me again. And that was the last time that I got to spend any time face to face with my daddy.
Invariably, the first reports were brought in by quiet and sober citizens like Frank Manor, father of 10 children, a countryman, a hunting man, a man used to wooded swamplands by night.
Frank Manor's UFO remained over his swamp more than 4 hours. His children saw it, his in-laws saw it, residents of the area saw it, the police saw it.
You know, people are crazy, right? People are crazy. They're delusional. You're seeing things. Nobody, it's entertaining to me. You know what I mean? I don't think they're crazy.
No, it moved very rapidly at any speed, or rather any direction it wanted to go. Why it could change and go to the right or the left or go crossways without hesitating a bit.
When you saw this thing take off, I mean, do you have any estimation of speed?
No, it was faster. It was the fastest thing I've ever seen.
You're worried they're going to kill you.
Yeah.
The Whistleblower Protection Act that has been put forward in the National Defense Authorization Act. I mean, this is what it's for.
And the gear that they had was black OTV vests. They had black camouflage utilities.
So what you're saying is there would have been no they were professionals.
Yes,
there would have been
yes.
no Mexican standoff where if they fired, they're shooting into their other squad. They had perfect angles.
Yes, they did.
To where both sides could engage you.
Yes.
This is the video called the Comburgus video, which is a close-up of a craft so close that you can see the occupants. It is 100% real, and I was there as that was filmed.
Yo, if I could get a clearer image of that, you can actually see this craft and you can actually see the operators, which is actually scary, bro. It's scary. That's the first time that they can see in the middle of it. I need a clearer image. I'll look one up for the next show. It's insane. You can see the operators in there, bro. By the way, this is the Sean Ryan show, man. I love that show.
Well, now it's time. Now we're seeing that this is an issue that must be investigated.
Bro.
I can tell you from our point of view, it's something that just looked very unnatural and abnormal.
What could somebody threaten you with to make you turn your back on your own child?
That because all these people just suddenly die. They tell you that it was suicide. He fell out of a window from a 13-story floor. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Now we can get to the meat and potatoes. This one is one. Hold on, man. Stop it. Where is the one right here? This right here. Okay. I'll start the beginning, but the good stuff starts at about 9 minutes. He's explaining the same thing that's going on in Antarctica, right? But now this is going in New Mexico, right? Archuleta Mesa in New Mexico. And this guy, his name is Rob Snyder. He had his own thing, man, and they scrubbed it, bro. I could not find it, bro. I could not find it. So I had to go to this video, and this is from the Y Files. This is from the Y Files. They do absolutely great breakdowns, man. Love it. And they also put jokes in there. They got the heckle fish, you know. But I don't know if I should start at the 9-minute mark where I think it starts, or should I just let it roll? I think I'll let it roll, man. But okay, the breakdown here is very professional because this guy really, what I love, just like Sean Ryan, and Sean Ryan does interviews and stuff. This guy does research and stuff like that. I was gonna do Billy Carson, but we're gonna save him for later because we have to explain that. But right here, the Y Files, man, so many videos, so many breakdowns. But what I love is the extensive breakdown, right? And he's not biased, you know. We should start at the beginning. I'll start at the beginning, and then, you know, I remember that like at 9-minute mark, that's when the real meat and potatoes go. Because did I have the Bob Snyder video? No, because they scrubbed it. So basically, a little background: Rob Snyder was a contractor. He used to he's an engineer architect, right? He was involved with building underground bases, right? So what happened was he felt set up. When he was sent there, they didn't even tell him what he was doing, right? He thought he was gonna go build something. At that time, whoever signed the treaty broke the treaty, right? And they went to the enemy base because they say there's like 9 different races that look at us as food, you know what I mean? So I'm saying too much. I'm gonna let it roll. If I don't like it, man, we're gonna move to the 9-minute mark. At the 9-minute mark, that's when it gets into the meat. But the Y Files, man. No, that's great channel, man. Follow them. They do, and it's, you know, him and the Hecklefish. All right, let's go with it. Let's go with it. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes.
Everyone's heard of Area 51, the top secret facility in the Nevada desert. But nobody really knows what happens there. We have only rumors. One rumor is that alien bodies have been recovered from UFO crashes. Those aliens have been autopsied and the subjects of medical experiments for years. But have you ever heard of Dulce Base? Dulce is more secret than Area 51 and more sinister. If Area 51 is the place where humans experiment on aliens, Dulce is the place where aliens experiment on us. Dulce is a town in New Mexico near the Colorado border on the Jicarilla Apache Reservation. Though the town is small, with fewer than 3,000 people, the area has the largest number of UFO sightings per capita in the world. The stories of strange lights and objects in the sky go back as far as the first people to inhabit the area thousands of years ago. Newer stories claim there's an underground base within the Archuleta Mesa near Dulce. Though there's never been hard evidence of this base, there are quite a few people who have come forward over the years that indicate something is happening in the area. There are witnesses who claim to have worked on the construction of the base, worked at the base, and some who've seen it from the air. There are even people who have claimed to have seen the base from the inside after being taken there against their will. In 1975, a rancher in Dulce called the police in a panic. One of his cattle had been killed. At first, he thought it was a predator, but predators don't do this. Officer Gabe Valdez responded to the call. He couldn't believe what he found. The cow was drained of all its blood and had undergone a procedure where many of its organs were surgically removed. And around the cow's carcass were tracks in the soil that looked like they came from the feet of a tripod. Next to each of the tracks, the ground was scorched, indicating there was an aircraft that could take off and land vertically. In the tracks, there was a yellow, oily substance that couldn't be identified by any lab. It seemed as if the tripods, whatever they were, followed the cow for about 600 feet. Valdez was able to see where the cow had struggled before this happened. Valdez knew this was a little outside of his lane, so he contacted Dr. Howard Burgess of Sandia National Labs. Dr. Burgess arrived 72 hours later to assist. Though 3 days had passed, the cow wasn't decomposing, and predators and scavengers wouldn't go near it. And at some point during those 3 days, one of the cow's ears was removed. Over the following months, 17 animals would be killed this way. All were missing their lymph nodes, all were missing multiple organs, and all taken surgically. All the animals were drained of blood, and the little blood that remained wouldn't clot, not even after several days. Soon, investigators started to become sick. 7 people who visited the ranch complained about headaches and nausea. This gave Dr. Burgess the idea to test radiation levels in the area, and radiation was twice what it should be. And during this time, investigators working at night saw orange lights moving silently in the sky. Investigators working during the day saw black helicopters circling overhead. Valdez wondered if this was more than a local phenomenon. He looked for cases of animal mutilation in the surrounding areas. And over the course of a few years, an estimated 8,000 animal mutilations were reported. Now, I was able to find the official FBI report on this, which I'll link below. And despite everything I've told you about the condition of these animals, the FBI said, quote, "It was consistent with predator action, and there is no federal interest in continuing an investigation."
The only predator that can do this is the predator.
What predator is that?
Well, you know, from the movies, with the face like a scungeel.
Funny you bring that up. Where was that predator from?
Another planet?
Well,
Oh, if it... bleeds, we can kill it!
Here's a harsh truth about success on Instagram. Great content alone is not enough to get you more.
Paul Benowitz was born in 1927, and when World War II broke out, he joined the Coast Guard as a teenager. He had a master's degree in physics and was pursuing his PhD when he opened an electronics company in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Paul Benowitz's primary clients were the Air Force and NASA. He did so much business with the Air Force that he actually bought a home and established a lab right next to Kirtland Air Force Base. And we have an entire episode that covers him and how he was misled and abused by the United States government. Link below. Kirtland Air Force.
I bet you I was muted last time. That's Hecklefish. And that's the guy that runs the channel. That's his channel. But you can see the cow mutilations. They said that the cows died a long time ago. Several days passed when they're supposed to decompose, and they wouldn't decompose. Animals wouldn't eat them. The blood wasn't clotting, and they had organs surgically removed. We're not talking about the chupacabras or nothing. That's funny. But I think hopefully I didn't miss it. There's a cow we can see in a minute where like you can see the eye is missing, and it's so clean, bro. There's no blood, no nothing, whatever. It's crazy. And we'll break that down in a minute. We'll see. All right, let's go.
Force Base is a massive complex spanning over 80 square miles. Over 20,000 people work on the base. Kirtland also happens to be the largest storage facility for nuclear weapons in the Western Hemisphere. On the grounds are the Manzano Mountains, and under the Manzanos are 80 underground bunkers, including a presidential emergency shelter. Connecting the bunkers are over 40 separate tunnels, though nobody knows for sure how many. The people who built the facility were not allowed to tell anyone about what they were working on. Paul Benowitz was a gifted engineer and was interested in UFOs. From Paul's second-floor balcony, he observed and filmed strange lights in the sky. He also recorded radio transmissions that seemed to be alien in origin. Paul occasionally worked for several UFO groups, including the Aerial Phenomena Research Organization known as APRO. And even though UFO research wasn't yet mainstream, APRO was a respected organization known for scientifically grounded research. In 1979, Paul attended a conference in Albuquerque where he met Officer Gabe Valdez. They traded stories about cattle mutilations, alien abductions, and UFO sightings that were happening in the area. Gabe Valdez and Paul Benowitz struck up a friendship. Valdez was basically the go-to cop for any strange phenomenon in the area, and Paul was compiling more and more data that aliens were real, were here, and were very interested in Kirtland Air Force Base. In 1980, Valdez caught the Myrna Hansen case and asked Paul Benowitz for help.
Okay, I gotta stop it again. According to YouTube, I have to, because I'm reviewing this, man. I can't just let this video play. And we're not gonna play the whole video. We're gonna get to a point because this is very interesting, man. His breakdown is very great. It's just I couldn't find the video, so I almost rather find real professionals that can break it down for us, right? So now that I interrupted, let's go.
Myrna Hansen claimed to have had a terrifying experience. When she was driving to her home in Eagles Nest, New Mexico, both she and her son saw 2 UFOs over a field. They left the car running and got out to take a closer look. They saw a cow grazing in the field get lifted into one of the UFOs by a beam of light. The next thing she knew, Myrna and her son were back in the car, the engine off, and hours had passed. And what happened during those hours, she had trouble remembering. And what she did remember, she had trouble discussing. So Gabe and Paul brought in a psychology professor to place Myrna under.
This is what I'm talking about. Some accounts of people in adoptions, I have trouble believing, right? I believe some of them are believable, some of them are not, So it's always the same thing. I just feel like a lot of people, maybe some people faked it, you know what I mean? So this is where the point, I'm going to go to the 9-minute mark so we can get to Rob Schneider, right? I'm going to get close to that minute mark real quick. I don't want to hear about abduction cases, man. I stay away from that. Let me back it up a little bit because we're going to talk about this guy. Let's go.
Everything he saw to the Air Force. Richard Doty, an agent working for the Air Force Office of Special Investigation, or OSI, was assigned to Paul's case. And Doty and Paul spent so much time together that they became personal friends. Paul showed Richard Doty sketches that Myrna Hansen made of what she saw while she was abducted. She drew hallways, elevators, rooms, and laboratories. Then Doty confirmed that her drawings matched the Manzano weapons storage complex, which was an underground facility.
Okay, and we'll get into that in a different show. We'll break that down. I'm just not interested in abduction cases. We want to get to the nitty-gritty. Let's go.
And over the next 20 years, more and more information would emerge that confirmed not only are aliens on Earth, but they're also working with the United States government. But when did this partnership begin? And why would the government be working with aliens and for what goal? Well, in 1995, we would get our answer when Phil Schneider, an engineer who helped build Dulce Base, blew the whistle. And it's darker than you could possibly imagine.
Oh, this is going to go left right here. What about Phil Schneider?
In 2021, the Pentagon budget was $750 billion. And since 1996, the American military has received $8.5 trillion in taxpayer dollars. And
he does very good breakdown, but I'm going to have to stop him at some point because I saw the original video. I can't find it. It's scrubbed. I cannot find this original video of Phil Schneider speaking, bro. He even had like samples and stuff. Like it's eerie, bro. So we're gonna let him go finish with Phil, and I'll come back and see if I can fill the holes. Maybe we'll just let it go, all right? But we're just gonna cover a little bit. We're not going the whole video. I'm interested in this right here. All right, let's go.
Never has had to account for any of it. In 2016, an investigation discovered that the Pentagon was covering up $125 billion in so-called wasted dollars.
Yep.
Now, if the military budget comes up short in a given year, whatever number that is just written in. It's called a plug, and then boom, balanced budget.
You try that with your taxes and see how that works out for you.
Oh, they throw you in jail.
That's the heck of it.
But there's evidence that the money is not being wasted. It's actually part of the Pentagon's black budget. In 1995, at the Preparedness Expo, Phil Schneider blew the whistle on one of the most secret black budget programs in.
I'll blow the whistle right now. He's talking about money in the Pentagon, right? Think about Building 7 that went down when when the World Trade Center, and I'm not blowing the whistle, this is out. Building 7 went down when the World Trade Center went down and didn't get hit, right? They said that in Building 7 was the archives of accounting of money that was going to government places, including the Pentagon. Man, when I listen to this back, man, I'm gonna, dude, this is gonna help me make more shows, bro, because we're going down, baby. We're gonna break all this shit down. Let's let them talk now. Let's go back to this, bro.
History.
On the southwest part of the Archuleta Mesa,
That's Phil Snyder.
We built an underground facility, a better part of 3 cubic miles, hollowed out underground. We were in the process of the early stages of building. We drilled 4 large tunnel-like holes. Some of them ran 2.5 miles under the surface. The equipment kept coming up broken. So we wanted to go down and we wanted to send somebody down there, a human observer, or human observers in this case, to find out what was going on.
In 1979, Schneider was working for Morrison Knudsen on a geology team, digging exploratory shafts for a new underground base in Dulce. And though working with heavy-duty equipment, the drills kept breaking. Once a drill punched through, Phil described black, sooty air billowing up through the opening, and the air smelled like rotten garbage. Phil put on a protective suit and headed down the lift to investigate.
Okay, that one I gotta stop right there. You know that most people that do like alien accounts and stuff, and they said that they had an encounter, they say that they smell the stench, bro. They smell, dude. Like it's bad, right? And this worries me, man, because, you know, in the Bible, they say that anything, like they say that demons smell like sulfur, bro. And that's what they were talking about, bro. Like the stench was so bad, bro. Listen, it worries me because my parents are Christian, and when I talk to them about aliens, you know, I don't anymore, but I remember my mom said there's no aliens, it's just demons. Yo, listen, it's scary. There was an account in Brazil. I forgot the town, but Jeremy Corbell covered it. And they spoke about the same thing, man. Everybody that really had an account, they speak about a certain stench. It kind of bothers my mind because I'm like, oh my God, man, this is crazy, man. Sulfur is attached to like demons and stuff, like, and I don't know. So like that's what he's talking about. Let's go.
On the way, walking through camp, he noticed there were an awful lot of armed troops.
When I saw Green Beret and Black Beret people encamped inside of our geologist camp, I knew something was up.
When Phil reached the bottom, he was face to face with a 7-foot-tall gray alien. He said its stench was worse than anything he'd ever smelled before. Then another alien appeared. Phil panicked, grabbed his pistol, and started firing. And he managed to kill one of the aliens, but the other started firing back. Phil was hit with what he called a plasma weapon and lost 2 fingers and part of his left hand. And this plasma weapon also gave him cancer.
Never bring a gun.
Yes. If I could find that clip that you see of Phil Schneider, if I could finally find it, I cannot. They scrubbed it. He shows you his hands, his missing fingers. He said that the second alien like did something like this, like rub his belly and created this energy plasma beam towards him and a bunch of berets. All right, man. If I could find this, man, this would be great. But they scrubbed it. It's gone. Can't find it.
To a plasma fight.
That's good advice. Now, Phil thought he was dead when suddenly a Green Beret who had followed him down grabbed him and put him on the lift. Now, Phil made it, but nobody else did. 66 men lost their lives in what was called the Battle of Dulce Base. The American military had accidentally drilled into an alien base that had been there for 400 or 500 years.
Hold on, but they knew. That's what Phil said. They knew what they sent them there to do. They just didn't tell them. That's why there was so many Green Berets, Black Berets, and there was so many personnel. Because he's a geologist / architect, something. And they were drilling those holes to do a base, but they sent them there on purpose, man. So basically, they sent them in a dummy mission. If you want to believe this, you don't have to believe it, but this is where it goes, bro. they knew when they sent him there, they knew that the base was there. They knew this is when the treaty, because the treaty been broken a couple times, you know. But this is one of the times the treaty was broken, bro. This was crazy, bro. And they sent him over there in a dummy mission. Everybody, there's so many Green Berets and something I counted like they died, black, you know. So many minutes, like, dude, this is insane, bro. The only reason I'm fascinated is because he did this publicly. He went around and had meetings, and you can see his hand, bro. They kill his son. He had so many like attempted murders against him. They finally killed him, bro. They finally killed. Spoiled the beans. God damn it. Let's go with this shit.
So now the military had a choice to make: go to war with the aliens or cooperate with them. Now, winning a war against entities with such advanced technology wasn't possible. So a deal was struck. Aliens would give advanced technology to humans.
Now, what did the humans have to get to the aliens?
Well, humans would have to give the aliens other humans.
Our United States government lied to not tell us anything about the alien threat. There's a war underneath there, and I'm talking dead serious.
Phil Schneider was an outspoken advocate for government transparency about the alien presence on Earth. He became well known on the UFO lecture circuit, giving talks about his time working on top secret government projects. He's most known for his talk at the 1995 Preparedness Expo, where he revealed all kinds of information. As of 1995, there were 131 active secret underground bases in the United States and 1,477 around the world. All the bases in the United States are connected by magnetic levitation trains that can reach speeds of Mach 2. Phil said that there are 7 benevolent alien species currently living on Earth and 4 evil species. He said that the US government signed 4 treaties with the aliens in 1944, in 1954, 1962, and the last one in 1979 after the Dulce battle. The treaty signed in 1954, called the Greada Treaty, was signed between the US government and a species of gray aliens. And the treaty says aliens would be allowed to abduct and experiment on humans as long as the US government, specifically the committee known as Majestic 12, was informed and provided a list of abductees.
The government sure does like making lists of people, huh?
It sure does.
Why are there so many abductions? Don't aliens know how boring humans are?
Well, according to Phil Schneider, at least 9 races of aliens view humans as a food source.
It's a cookbook.
It's a cookbook. No! No!
Classic Twilight Zone episode. But the aliens don't consume human flesh. Instead, they use the secretions of glands from mammals. This species of alien suffers from a genetic disorder, and the enzymes in mammal hormones keep the aliens healthy. And some alien races use human adrenaline as a recreational intoxicant.
Ugh, they get high from human.
Damn it, I'm muted. There's a certain gland in our body. I gotta stop muting myself. I can explain that. There's a certain gland in our body that they use as drugs, right? Like it's in our brain and also one in our spine, and that's what they look for. You know, they don't necessarily eat humans. Some of them eat humans. That's what they said, but basically, there's certain glands in our body that they use. It's not like just to get high, but it's like it's beneficial for them, right? That's what he's speaking about. All right.
And secretions?
They do.
Yeah, that's a hard pass from me.
Me too. Now, in exchange for access to humans for experimentation, the aliens would provide the United States with advanced technology. According to Phil Schneider, military technology is 1,200 years ahead of what civilians have now. Stealth technology came from aliens. The U.S. government.
Remember, that's what the Nazis were hoping to do when they traveled to and build New Schwabenland in Antarctica. They hope to meet this race so they can exchange information for technology so they can be better protected for the next war. All right, it's the same thing right here, right here.
Government now has the ability to create special metal alloys, but they can only be created in the vacuum of
We're doing
space.
that right
The
now.
US military has a device that causes earthquakes. The 1989 San Francisco earthquake and the 1995 Kobe earthquake were weapons tests.
Seiko to score, and he fails to get Dave Parker at second base, so the Oakland A's take
That's the earthquake.
And Phil Schneider makes all kinds of other claims. He said the bombings of the World Trade Center in 1993 and the Oklahoma City bombing of 1995 were done with miniature nuclear devices provided by the aliens. He said AIDS and other viruses were created as a means of controlling the population.
All right, hold on. I gotta stop you there.
Well, no, I'll stop you there right now because I believe Oklahoma bombing, that was Timothy McVeigh, right? So how did he get that technology, right? He was listen, there's like they set people up with like control devices, right? Same like Manson. Manson is known to be part of like some kind of secret project, and they give him like acid and stuff, and they try to manipulate his brain and stuff. You can look it up. So Timothy McVeigh, like it was Timothy McVeigh. So where did he get that from? It had to be, allegedly. You know what I mean? So let's go.
You expect me to believe that a government would artificially create a dangerous virus in a lab? My friend, that is a bridge too far.
Sarcasm?
Yes, of course it's sarcasm.
Phil Schneider believed that all this was happening for one purpose: to establish a new world order. The alien plan is to completely take over the planet and eliminate almost 90% of the world's population.
Ooh, this is the kind of talk that makes the men in black come a knocking.
That's true. And Phil Schneider said he was under constant surveillance by the government. He even claimed he was attacked by an FBI agent and killed the agent in self-defense.
He did.
And he reported this to the FBI, but nothing came of it.
No, because the government would have to admit to all this stuff.
That's right. Phil was constantly in fear for his life. He said he had 11 close friends all die under mysterious circumstances, but every death was ruled suicide. In fact, Phil Schneider told his friends and family over and over, if I ever end up dead, I didn't kill myself. It was murder. He was adamant about this.
Yeah, I can't help notice that you keep speaking about this guy in the past tense.
Well, in January 1996, just 4 months after he gave his famous lecture, Phil Schneider was found dead in his apartment.
Now, come on.
Apparently, he had taken his own life.
Oh, come on.
Listen to this, bro.
There's a good chance that when I fly back to to Vegas, I have to drive home. I left my car down in Vegas. I have to drive home alone. I'm scared to hell.
Phil Schneider was constantly worried. He told his family that if he was ever found dead, to not believe the story, that it was murder. A few weeks after that, Phil Schneider was found dead in his apartment.
Dang.
At first, his death was ruled unknown, even though he had a medical tube wrapped around his neck. And a lot of details about his death don't add up. First, there was no note. Also, he had enough pills on hand to die painlessly. He also had a gun. The medical tube was wrapped around his throat 3 times and then tied in a knot under his chin. Now, strangling yourself this way seems difficult, especially in Phil's case. He was missing half of his left hand.
He was missing
his
hands.
shoulders had limited motion. He had brittle bone syndrome from cancer and spent a lot of time in a wheelchair. He was a weak and frail man. The medical examiner, for some reason, refused to visit the scene, though he was legally required to. He did take blood and urine samples, but refused to test them because he said it was a waste of time. And when Phil's family inquired about those samples, they were told they were sent to an independent lab and were now missing. When Phil's ex-wife Cynthia went to collect his belongings, everything was gone. Recordings of Phil's lectures, photographs, research, even physical evidence from Dulce Base. It was all missing. And then something very strange happened. An obituary appeared in the local paper saying Phil died of a stroke. Phil's family didn't write that obituary. So who did?
Well, that's enough right there. Hold on, bro. See? That's a, dude, listen, we go down this. I love people that break this down because if I break it down to you, it'd be different. Like I'll be all over the place, you know what I mean? Because I get excited about this type of stuff. Listen, I'll bring up one more name. You know who that happened to as well? Nikola Tesla, bro. If you know the history of Nikola Tesla, I'm afraid to say the name. Fuck it, bro. It's on the internet, man. I'm not gonna say it. I'm good. I'm not gonna say it. Dig down on Nikola Tesla, bro. Nikola Tesla was trying to provide the world with free energy. He did. He was so advanced, bro. But they had to stop it. You know what I mean? I'll give you a couple more. There's a couple people that disappear. There's a guy that created a machine in Africa that could clean polluted water. No. I think it could use like atmospheric particles to clean water and stuff. So basically it could provide water to the village. He disappeared. There's a dude. If this guy was white, there's a dude that created he created an engine that ran on water. It would evaporate molecules and whatever. He ran on water. He disappeared. Yo, so many of these people created a bunch of shit, dude, and they disappeared. You know what I mean? Bro, Phil Snyder was out here wilding, bro. He did conferences. You know, they killed his son, dude. He was missing like I think when I saw the original video, he only had like 2 fingers on his hand, bro, because of the beam particle, like how because he tried to stop it or whatever. Like, let's go back. When he went down, he encountered the aliens, right? Because they were drilling, right, and they had like they were able to like establish this kind of like elevator system, and they went down, right, and they didn't know. Dude, his own interview explained this so well, like because he didn't know he's a geologist, bro. There was so many people, dude, like so many type of people, and he always asked like, why is it there's people over here, and like you need to be on the need to know, right? I guess he didn't know, right? So he wasn't brief, so he definitely didn't know. Man, listen, bro, it's hard to believe, okay? It's hard to believe, but let me go with his account. When he went down, and he went down the shaft because they have to build the shafts, right? And then he went down on the elevator type, and he saw the first alien, 7 foot tall alien. Now this is common in in alien information. And he said he killed one. He said out of his own words. We don't know if he killed him, but he shot him because he claimed he has one pistol on him. You know what I mean? Because whatever, and he shot one, and the next one behind him, I remember this. He said the next one behind him did something like this on his stomach and created some kind of blue beam and hit him, bro. And like it burned everybody, man. Killed everybody around him. He got lucky. He lost a few fingers. And then the Green Beret that was behind him, he didn't know he was behind him, pulled him into the shop, hit the lever, and they went up. That's hard to believe, right? It's hard to believe. But this guy, man, he had plenty of conferences, man. This historic account is there, bro. His son died under mysterious consequences. He died. They say that he committed suicide, but he had a cord wrapped around his neck 3 times. You know what I mean? He explained how many times they tried to kill him. You saw him right here. He was saying, "I'm afraid to travel back because I'm afraid of something happening." Bro, why does every time somebody has like some kind of like shit like that, they all die in some kind of car crash, and it's always denominated as a suicide and stuff? That's what I'm saying, bro. That's why this is interesting. There's so many people coming out. I don't believe in the new age of whistleblowers. I have a worry about that, man. What's the guy's name? The last guy that came out. Whatever. The last guy that came out, bro. What's his name? Whatever. I don't believe in that. People are placed to give misinformation. You know what I mean? And now they got this is real. They try to push for a committee for people to be protected, to be like if you're a whistleblower, you be protected. I don't know how good that's gonna work, man. Because all of them see, like all of them get whacked, bro. I'm gonna take it further, man. Why do you think they took out Princess Diana, bro? How did Princess Diana die, bro? Gotta be careful with this shit, bro. Listen, bro. It's interesting. What's that reporter guy that exposed damn man, damn. Yeah, I can't even say it because I don't remember his name. It's something, it's always, man. Car crash, a suicide. Oh, he committed suicide. He jumped out of the 13th story of a building at the hospital. What? The treaty signed. Um, the deal, you give us technology, we give you humans, like, you know what I mean? Like the other entities, they keep talking about like the entities that belong in this world that originally own this world. You say own this world because we think we are the original race over here. I don't believe that. I stopped believing that, man. It's too much, bro. Look at the ocean, man. What would be the perfect place to hide is the ocean. We don't go there, man. They say we only explore barely 25% of our ocean, man. Mapped out and everything. We know about the Mariana Trench, dude. We can't go down there. They keep finding new species of fish and stuff like that, dude. Look at the octopus. The family of the cephalopods, man. They say this must be a alien species and stuff. You can see it. You know what I mean? It's insane, man. And I love all this stuff, bro. I love all this stuff. They're looking for the megalodon. They got all kinds of stuff. The Leviathan, you know what I mean? Like, bro, it's insane. There's a lot of in the treaties. Does anybody remember about like when they said like the over at the White House when the whole fleet of saucers came through and whatever? Bro, this is insane, man. All this stuff, man, the Congress, and now this is what bothers me, because now like they're fascinating people because they talk Majestic 12. We need to break that down. I'll break that down. Majestic 12, Lou Elizondo, they try to say like he's a spokesman for the Pentagon, and now all of a sudden, they just wanna the Congress came out with a briefing and stuff, and when the briefing came out, they didn't tell you nothing, right? It's interesting, man, because they said they were trying to plan a fake alien invasion, right? So it's funny how you couldn't talk about aliens before or entertain UFOs. Now they call UAPs. What are the underwater called? They're called whatever. I don't remember. I can't remember right now. But it's funny. It's funny how it's open right now, right? Because anybody that could talk about, remember Roswell, and everything started with the nuclear weapons, man. As soon as we started, developing nuclear weapons and stuff, things started. There's a video. You see, I'm glad because this will help me remember so I can bring the videos up. There's a video of an actual videographer that the military hired because they were testing a nuclear head on a video. They were testing a nuclear head and he was capturing video. And when they slowed it down, the video like got deaded, right? Not the video, the rocket. And then the videographer said that he got called and he went and saw the commanding official, whatever. And they're like, would you guys playing around out there or whatever? He didn't know what he captured. When they slowed it down, they could see this thing that came in and zap the rocket one way, zap the rocket another way, and zap the rocket another way. This is on video. This is gonna help me bring it up, because I'm gonna look this up. Another one is this. All like nuclear facilities, all the stories about how like they keep seeing like saucers coming through and shutting down the ability, literally shutting down the ability. There was one account that I know that they said that this kind of saucer came up and activated the nuclear weapons, but it never fired, right? But everything started when we dropped and develop the first nuclear bomb. That's what they say, all right? And don't forget about Roswell. 1947 Roswell, man. How do you think we got like optic cables? Like, think about like the technology, right? You can break it like microwaves, optic cables, you know what I mean? Like the microchips, you know what I mean? And look at the military advantage of they said about the stuff that they able to build, right? But they gotta build it out in space. Only if you believe in space, because if you believe in flat earth, then this doesn't work, right? But they have to like build things. There's actually a space force, man. There's actually a space force, man. A lot of people don't know this. We gotta talk about the moon. It's gotta come into play, man. There's so many things here, man. And it's fascinating. It's fascinating. There's so many things. Oh, we didn't do the pyramid thing, bro. Do I have it? How long is it? Where's the pyramid? I got it right here. Oh, I got it right here. We could do it. We could do it. I just don't want to drag this too long, man, because we gotta do a lot of research, man. This is insane, bro. We'll do a snippet of this here. We'll play a snippet of this. So, according to what just came out, this was done in 2021, and it's just coming out right now, right? The Egyptologists from Egypt, they have very tight grip on the information that comes out. That's why they control everything, right? Because they want to protect their entity, whatever. I think they're hiding something, right? If you look at the top guy, like, I think they're hiding something, right? There's been a lot of things that they say about this under the pyramids, that's why they close to rivers. They tell us that it was a tomb. Dude, somebody else, an architect, and an engineer, an electrical engineer, he said, no, it looks more like a power plant. And he breaks it down. And then you can see like how like it correlates, right? So right now we're just gonna see, this is an Italian team did this research with like radars. Now these radars, they're using them to like map out the earth. They use it in the Amazon. That's how they find an old civilization. It's some kind of radar. I forgot the name, but it can scan like everything, right? So these guys have a higher up. Is there like the next level of that radar, because they can use it from space. It was an Italian team. I don't think this is the Italian team doing the thing, but I just found a video because I wanted to like show a little bit of it, man. People been theorizing about this a long time ago, but they won't let you go explore, right? So now the truth is out. So everybody's just like, you know what I mean? This is old news. And now scientists are coming out with this stuff, which is fascinating. All right. So let's see, man. We're not going to play the whole thing. It's 12 minutes long. I just want to show the pyramids and what they found in the bottom of the pyramids, because they've been theorizing about this. This is the.
There has been a substantial amount of attention surrounding the newly claimed find beneath the Great Pyramid of Khafra within Giza, and with no substantial reports regarding what could be under.
What they're showing you right there is those pillars. There should be coils and stuff. So this makes sense with the whole power plant thing. All right, I'm gonna let it play, bro.
The other two yet to surface, opinions regarding the find have so far been divided. And although the claims on the surface may seem outlandish and to many unrealistic, the dismissal that the find is experiencing within not only the public sector, but also the academic world is to us a very familiar one indeed. And once you learn about the factors which made us particularly interested in the find, characteristics we felt, if our suspicions accurate, would indeed be found, you may look upon...
Okay, I gotta stop it right there. This right here, what you're looking at, is it's a rendering. So like according to the scan and what they created this, which they've been theorizing this for years, right? So all of this, they have like little chambers, and they keep finding chambers inside the pyramid, right? But they always talk about hidden truth under the pyramids, right? And they talk about like how it's a power plant. This pillars that you see, they say it's like 2 kilometers down, right? And the coils and everything. Some of these chambers have not been found. It was just scanned. So this is a rendering of. This is not like real. This is what they think they found. So this is a representation of the scan, that they did, right? I said enough. All right, let them talk, bro. Let's go.
On this possible new discovery in an entirely and perhaps more profound light. We have long posited that the Great Pyramids of Giza are not simply placed where they are, a spot picked at random, built upon the ever-shifting sands of Egypt, but were in fact meticulously and masterfully planned and executed.
Okay, everybody knows, I hope you heard that they're placed specifically true north and they match certain star systems. Now they say this match one, but back in the day before the axis shifted, it was matching the constellation of Leo. So when you look at the Sphinx, it used to be a lion. It looks like a pharaoh and whatnot. Those are the people that came later, but it's supposed to be a lion, is what they say. Because if you go back in time, it will match with the constellation of Leo. But how were they able to put it in a geographical PowerPoint of the Earth and be able to like shift constellations? That's what I'm saying. Now we found this. Man, come on, bro. Let's go, bro.
What's more, for an ancient civilization sophisticated enough to have created such gigantic and complex structures to such precise specifications, structures they intended to stand for eons, would you not perhaps consider that they would build a foundation, a gigantic stone plateau that in many areas has evidence to be found of it having once been completely artificially constructed? With staircases seemingly placed, carved into and through the plateau, right into its underbelly, at specific locations, the reasons for which as yet unclear. Would you not create a perfectly level stone foundation if you indeed had the ability to work with such enormous stones? A place to sit several structures, each weighing in the realm of 1,000,000 tons, each perfectly constructed, and each planned to sit perfectly level for thousands of years. This, however...
Okay. I hope everybody, if you're into this, man, because it has to do with the water. They said there's reservoirs down there. And there's so many theories. And because of this discovery, now it's adding to that theory and it's going to there. They said, according to the story of Thoth, there's a library down there that has information about our world and Earth, right? I wouldn't be surprised if that shit is gone because the pyramid's been robbed, man. People, like they hide that, but pyramid's been violated. The original, the first entrance to the pyramid was not the original entrance. They say that other people like blew an entrance into it before they found the real entrance, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if the whole blockage, and they don't, because Egyptologists they protect their stuff so good, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's gone or stolen or out of there, just like the Smithsonian people do, right? But however, the most important thing is that you cannot erase the structure, how it's built. We asking how they built the pyramid. Now we're presented with what's underneath, So this is it's fascinating, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's go.
However, raises more questions. One in particular being, why did these structures seemingly need such perfect alignment? What were they aligned with? Was it ancient constellations? Or perhaps for an alignment going far into the earth below? Or perhaps both? Maybe these structures were indeed built from the top down, not literally, but with an eye to their function. It is only over the last few decades that we have begun to understand just what sort of an enormous undertaking the Great Pyramids were. And
let me pause it right there too. A lot of people, you can find this. They say that make sure I'm not muted. Yo, the pyramids, all this right here. This is why I say I wouldn't be surprised if things are gone, right? Because they say that the pyramids were covered on slick limestone, like shiny limestone. So all those things were removed. People, it's hard to explain, but I understand it. People just removed it, right? And they said that the top of the pyramid, the crown of the pyramid was made out of gold, right? One thing about that is this, bro. Gold is an energy conductor, right? And this is gonna tie us into the Anunnaki and everything. I'm glad, bro. We're gonna go down with this, bro. I'm gonna come back with this shit, bro. And this is gonna help me go. They said that it was shielded with like limestone, slick limestone, which is an energy conductor, as well as the golden cap on the pyramid. Yo, this rooters, what do you call it? Robbers, malooters. You know, they back in the day, man. Look, if you want to know what I'm saying, like look at the people, the original people that created an interest into the pyramid. They blew their way in. They dug their way in. They didn't find a natural entrance until later. Okay, yo, this is dope. And if you could look at the top of the pyramid, there's pictures of it. They are hieroglyphics, right? They say the structures were left there by an ancient civilization who constructed, right? And you can see the technology, bro. Everything is like matching perfectly. You can see like everything is just so smooth and matte. How? With chisels, potatoes, and sliding and whatever, they can prove certain rock that they use was brought from like way away, bro, from places they don't even know how they did that, right? On top of that pyramid, there's pictures. There's like hieroglyphics there. Now, they said that the original people that built the pyramids did not do the hieroglyphics. The Egyptians came later. That's what they say. They added hieroglyphics, bro. There's no hieroglyphics inside the pyramid. I hope I'm not mistaken, bro. They said there's the king's chamber, the queen's chamber. They found another chamber. That's why they denominated that it could be a power plant, which is very interesting because when you look at it, it looks like a combustion zone where it's placed, how it draws the energy. Nobody knows how it works, man. But this is crazy, bro. You know, so they would say like those chambers would like produce some kind of energy. Yo, it'd be crazy. Like now think like there's different pyramids around the world, right? But you know, there's pyramids around the world, and you can see resemblances of a culture. Have you ever seen the depiction of carvings on, you know, Göbekli Tepe, Timapunku, the Guatemalan ruins, the Mayan pyramids? You can see depictions of carvings on the walls, like carvings and each one of them have like a certain bag. They carry a bag. And you can go to Sumerian tablets and Sumerian history. They say that the Bible was crafted out of Sumerian history, right? Because it's tied up with the Anunnaki, the Nephilims, and all that stuff. You know, the Book of Enoch. Man, we got a lot to talk about, man. That's crazy. Let this guy go, man. It's insane, man. The Giants, you know, like my man. But this right here, man. So I started with the pyramids were covered with limestone, silky limestone. It was shiny. It was shiny to reflect the sunlight and absorb it, right? And the top, the gold cap, it was a gold cap. So they say that I'm gonna say a little thing. They say that we were the slaves of the Anunnaki, so we can mine gold because they needed gold because it's an energy conductor. Now you can look at the representation of gold, and it's a very good. It has proportions that we don't know. We just think hey, this is fake. This is fake jewelry. This ain't real gold. You know what I mean? This is fake. This costs like $7, bro. All right. But they say that the Anunnaki needed gold in order to build certain things to collect energy because it's a good conductor. Now, you know, you gotta do your own research, but this is why things like come together, right? So the pyramids look like that because it was taken apart. Supposedly they were nice and shiny, covered with limestone, and they have a gold cap. You know what I mean? So that makes sense with the power plant thing, bro. And now they found those pillars. They found the pillars, and they have something that represent coils. Somebody said they could be stairs. I don't think they're stairs, bro. There would just be one set of stairs. Also, in the story of Thoth, they say under the pyramids there's a library. That's the big pyramid of Giza. They haven't explored the other ones. That's the big one, right? So he said that there's a library full of information. Dude, I wouldn't be surprised if all that's gone, dude. I wouldn't be surprised. There's so many rules that we cannot. Egyptologists have control of this. I wouldn't be surprised. Now, this is tied up to the rivers, which is a conductor, the water, the high. It's all connected with being a power plant, which is very interesting. Dude, that's not a tomb. There was no bodies found in there. And they call it the king's chamber and the queen's chamber, man. All of those things have purposes. And they found chambers. Dude, there's a scientist guy that like took a remote control car into a little hole and went to another and found another chamber. And inside that chamber, there's a block that looks like it had handles. What are we talking about? Man, this is great, bro. I think I said what I need to let the guy finish, man. Let's go.
Perhaps we are only seeing a fraction of their true size, for it is only with scanning equipment and the centuries of deterioration that the structures have experienced that we have started to see just what sort of size stones are within its exoskeleton, as if these feats deliberately hidden, buried, and concealed by its original builders, just like their true function and indeed their true size. And with an anomaly reportedly drilled some 2 kilometers into the earth below, one has to wonder what these things could be. Could they be generating some form of energy field, or even manipulating factors of reality itself? Interestingly, an international research group investigated the electromagnetic response of the Great Pyramid to radio waves. Scientists predict that under resonance conditions, the Pyramid of Khufu can concentrate
That's the pyramid. That's the big pyramid. The Pyramid of Khufu. I couldn't remember the name. But listen, you heard what he said? You heard what he said? It's the Pyramid of Khufu. That's the one that got scanned, all right? I heard him say that the information out of the other pyramids is not out. They probably did scan them, it's just not out, right? This is deep because it just ties into so many theories, man. It's hard for me to break down. Let him talk. All right, let's go.
Electromagnetic energy inside its internal chambers, and perhaps more interestingly, from under its base. The research group plans to use these results to design nanoparticles capable of reproducing similar effects in the optical range. The study was published in the Journal of Applied Physics. The research implies that the pyramids themselves may be focusing specific forms of light. And just like the legend out of Lord of the Rings, may one day be found to be beacons.
Bro, hold on. Yo, it's funny. I'm not going to rewind it because the whole thing, they had the Eye of Sauron right there. It's funny. And now they have the OCNI Illuminati. Let me tell you, man, I'm a believer of what they like. The truth is right in your face, but they masquerade it, right? Like it's hidden in plain sight. There's so many hidden truths about our history, man. Like look at I was talking about Graham Hancock, right? Where's the other guy? Reed. That's the guy that has to do with the erosion of the water. Where's the geologist? The geologist is Carlson. Randall Carlson, I think is his name. Man, listen, bro. This is insane. I think it's Randall Carlson. Yeah. Bro, the Younger Dryas theory guy. Yes, that guy. I think it's Randall Carlson. Listen, man. It's funny that I didn't know We watching it. I said I got this video so I can explain. I never seen this video. I don't know the mystery history. That's cool. Listen, we're watching this for the first time with me. Like, but I like the information. When I started watching it, I was like, okay, they got some info, but I've never seen this video before. It's interesting to me how there was the Iozoran. The Iozoran. That's from a movie, man. That's from a movie, man. That's from Lord of the Rings. Do you know that the tie with Hollywood, the elites? Do you know that? Do you know that they say too that they show you things, in movies just to kind of like, you know what I mean? Like condition you to like accept things because they want to hide it in plain sight, bro. That's crazy that we go into this breakdown and he put the eye of Zara in there. And now there's the Illuminati eye. That's in the back of the dollar bill, bro. That's on the back of the dollar bill. It's insane, bro. You know what I mean? We all know what that is, the Illuminati or whatever. You know what I mean? What's all the place? The Grove. What's it called? With Moloch and the owl? What's the Grove? I forgot the beginning name. It's like an elite retreat and something. They go over there to praise the God. I don't know if they call it a God, but they go over there to praise Moloch. Moloch is a big owl. It's all elites, man. You're not invited. It's just candidates and presidents and stuff. And they say it's like it's a retreat, like so people can relax. But dude, it's insane. I don't know if it's available, but look up Alex Jones. Damn, but I don't know the name. It's Alex Jones. It's the Grove. I can't remember the first name. Either way, man, that dude snuck up in there. What do you think they hate him? What do you think they blocked him? What do you think he got sued? What do you think? Yo, so many truth he put out there. It's insane, bro. Listen, whether you believe something or not, I advise you just go listen to information. You know, you denominate your own thing. Don't let anybody tell you what's real because a lot of things are crazy. That dude, Alex Jones, says so many truths that manifested, bro. And look at it, man. They fucked them. You know who saved them? I'm not gonna say no names because I don't want to get political. I don't want to do that on my channel. Go do your research, man. Yeah, he sounds like a loony and whatever, but dude, he predicted this. Dude, he told us so many things. Dude, it's insane, bro. It's insane. And then look what they put him through, bro. It's insane. A lot of the things that he said, we found out later. This is crazy. I'm telling you, gain information. I don't care, man. I want the information, you know. I'll take it from anywhere. That's what I told somebody. Like, if I have an enemy and there's a meeting, why would I not take a meeting with my enemy, bro? I want a resolution, bro. You know what I mean? Diplomacy is at hand, bro. And then you start finding dark forces, man. Alex Jones is one of those representatives. He can represent the elites hiding things. How does he find? He found out so many things and became true, bro. That's why he's still relevant, bro. You can look it up. Everything I'm saying about Alex, you can see it, bro. Now, if I tell you something about the Illuminati, we don't know nothing about that. We just know some shit, you know, and we, you know, get your information, man. Don't neglect any information. Veil your own information, man. You know what I mean? You'll know if somebody is feeding you some bullshit. Eventually you will. Alex Jones is a very the Grove. What is the first name of the Grove? Whatever, man. They do the whole Moloch the owl. Damn. He snuck in there, bro. He's got a video. If it's still available on the internet, they might have taken it down. Go on YouTube and look up Alex Jones, Moloch the owl. I want to say Hollywood. It's not Hollywood Grove. What is it called, man? I can't remember the first name. But he's not getting there, man. Bro. Listen. There's a lot of things available, He made so many things. He told us about, bro, people thought he was crazy, bro. He looked like a crazy dude. He looked like me. I'm probably looking like him right now, bro. You know what I mean? Yo, he told us about experiments that were going on that came through. He told us about plans of the government that came through. He did fuck up one time and they got him. The one time that they got him, they crucified him, bro. And they tried to take him out. He's back. He's back. I'm not gonna say who supported him or whatever, because if people gave their panties in the bunch, man, I don't even care about none of that. I'm just glad that all the things that he told us, like so many truths, bro. Yo, it's crazy. It's crazy how much this guy. Where did he get that information from? It's insane, man. And they tried to take him out because he was trying to tell us the information. Think about Edward Snowden. Edward Snowden is the first guy that told us about the NSA spying on citizens and watching our information and all that. That was under the Obama administration, right? Look at him now. He's the bad guy, right, bro? But he's the first one that told us, though, they're watching our information, bro. Look at this, bro. There's another guy. What's his name? I don't know. I think I can't remember his name. Whistleblowers, those whistleblowers, man, that the proof is there. I don't believe this new whistle. What's his name, bro? I gotta look his name up. The new whistleblower guy, I don't trust him, man. I think he's lying. You know what I believe? I believe that because information is coming out and people are placed in position to feed us certain information so we can run with the narrative, right? I believe that. Gotta be wary of people. What is the name of the guy? Here, I'll get him right now. I need to get this night. I didn't like Lou Elizondo. I didn't like him. I don't know. My position has changed with Lou Elizondo. I don't know, man. I don't know. Jeremy Corbell. I like Jeremy Corbell more than anybody, but sometimes I think he's just too gung ho and whatever. Dr. Greer. Dr. Greer's been doing this for a long time, man. He left his position to pursue this stuff. So, I gotta give him some respect, but I just he has to be, I don't know, but it's just people keep saying like disclosure. I don't know, man. Who is this guy? The new guy. This guy I'm very worried about. Who is the dude? What's his name, bro? Man, I can't remember. Bald guy from the military, bro. Now, mind you, when he kept saying it's on a skiff. A skiff is like a private information thing, like you cannot reveal because you got a security. So you got everything that you're gonna talk about, you gotta check with the Pentagon. That's a problem right there. So you're not a whistleblower, right? What's this guy? Let's look up Senate meeting. Let's look up. I want his name to come up real quick. No, dude, this guy does not sit well with me, and I'm gonna tell you why. You can do your research, man. This is why. Okay. Oh, no. Hey, man. Okay, hold on. One second. Is he? I'm stupid, man. Blowers. Okay. Now, hold on. We're gonna add this right here. UAPs, because it's not UFOs anymore, right? And then we should say Senate meeting. I want to see. Okay. Bro, they made a whole big deal about. Oh, here we go. They made a whole big deal about this, man. That guy right there. This guy, this motherfucker, bro. Hold on, man. That dude. What is his name? This guy right here. What is his name? Say his name. Where is his name at? David Grush. David Grush. This guy right here. Listen, man, certain people are put in place for the misinformation. I don't trust this guy. I don't trust this guy. This guy managed to infiltrate. That's Jeremy Corbell. That's Jeremy Corbell behind him. Okay, let's put this up real quick. Let's put this up real quick. I think he infiltrated the good people. I think Jeremy Corbell is a good guy, man. He's got really good documentaries. Hold on. Right here. Okay. Okay, this guy right here. Okay. The guy with the red tie right there, that's David Grush. I don't trust that guy. I think he's lying. That's my opinion. This guy right here is feeding us bullshit, bro. Everything in that meeting, like when he got to the I can't disclose that information. I can tell you on a skiff. A skiff is like pretty much it's like a private meeting that has to be sanctioned by the U.S. government and the Pentagon, by U.S. officials and top hires. That guy right there, I have a feeling he's lying. The guy with the red tie right there, that in the middle, that's David Grush. And he's like the newest whistleblower, right? I don't trust him, bro. There's something about this guy that doesn't sit well, dude. And now, let's be clear. Anybody that has to do anything with the government, as far as not Jeremy Corbell is sitting right here to his side. What would it be on the screen? Because if I say right, it's left, right? Jeremy Corbell is the guy with the beard. Not the guy that has the mean mug. Jeremy Corbell is wearing the gray shirt. He's not wearing a tie. Jeremy Corbell is that guy with the gray beard right there. Okay? I trust that guy. I've seen a lot of his documentaries. He's been putting in work, bro. He's putting in work, dude. And I got a level of trust. That guy in the middle, David Grush, he's feeding us fake information, dude. I believe that. That's my opinion, bro. I think he's a plant. I don't trust this guy, bro. If anybody, we're not going to play this over here, bro. I don't want to see this. Go look him up and see how you feel about his answers, what he's saying and everything, bro. Now, I believe Captain, the air captain is there too, man, on this, let's see. This guy, let me find him. Give me a second. Let me see if they put him on camera right here. He's the one that disclosed the TikTok from around. No, this is all about David Grush. Bro, listen, I don't like this guy. There's something about this guy, bro. Like I said, when they send you things, right? And a lot of these people have to, before they speak, they have to clear it with the Pentagon, okay? And I don't know if you remember, they said, we're going to disclose the UFO files, whatever, the Senate's going to come out. When it came out, it was nothing. You might as well not tell us anything. You didn't tell us nothing. This guy right here, bro, I don't believe him. Also, Lou Elizondo. Lou Elizondo was part of our program. I forget the name. I don't want to fuck it up. ATIP? Lou Elizondo was part of ATIP, right? I think it was ATIP. But, I let off of him. He seems like, I don't know, man, but, but I still don't trust him. But this guy right here, bro, be careful. Because I think they try to feed you some information so you can believe something that is not real, bro. This guy's a plant, dude. There's something about, I've listened to a lot of his interviews, bro. And he came out, bro. I don't feel he's sincere, bro. There's something about him, bro. There's something about him, bro, that it bothers me, bro. I don't think he's telling us. I think he's telling us what he was told to tell us, which is, that's, David Grush. That's his name, bro. Man. And that whole disclosure thing that came out. Now, I'm not talking about Jeremy Corbell, the older guy with the gray shirt and the beard. I believe him, but I'm still skeptical, but I believe him. I've seen a lot of his documentaries. He's the one that did the Brazilian documentary where they found that alien. He also said that the girls that found the alien said that the alien stunk. You know what I mean? That's why I was bringing the whole demon thing and the sulfur thing. Jeremy Corbell has a lot of good insight, and so does Dr. David Greer. You know, I believe Dr. David Greer. You know, at first I was, you know, but he's been doing it for so long. But this guy right here, bro. Oh, Commander Favor. Commander Favor is the one that was flying, and he's the one that had the incident with the TikTok. You know, Commander Favor. He's kind of like halfway. I believe him, but I don't know. I don't believe this guy. That guy, that David Greer guy, I think he's setting us up. He's lying, bro. I'm telling you, bro. Every interview that I've seen about him, nothing convinced me, you know? Like if I watch and I don't, you know, and I watch another thing, like I start like changing. My feelings never change with this guy. There's something about him, bro. There's something about him, bro. And then they're doing all this. Now all of a sudden we can go to Congress and talk about aliens. Back in the day, you couldn't do that, bro. Anybody that knew anything about aliens, you couldn't talk about aliens, bro. You'll be considered a weirdo. You lose your job. You be outcasted, you know. So why are they? That's why I believe that, you know, when the whistleblowers come out, certain other people, not these guys. The guys that I believe, I don't really want to put them on blast because, you know, I don't want to put them out there. But you know, the fact that they said they want to plan a fake alien invasion. This is correlating with that. Because now we're talking about, we're in Congress talking about this. You were not allowed, bro. Think about 1947 when Roswell happened, dude. And nobody could talk about nothing. No, they debunked it. They said it was a weather balloon and whatever, dude. They hid everything, right? Now, what's happening that now this is accepted, right? And I understand that the masses have grown and we are more accepting of things, but this is weird because it's a government official with security clearance that checked with the Pentagon, and the way that he speaks, he says he's a whistleblower, but he's not telling you nothing, bro. He claims that he got information about crafts and stuff, but he never seen them personally. He was told. See, I got a problem right there, bro. You know, I believe Bob Lazar. Bob Lazar, that's one. I believe that guy. Bob Lazar. Because of you know why? Because of the persecution that he had. Ain't nobody persecuting this guy. Now, this is a whole new thing with the Senate because I think they I don't know if they passed it yet, but they created something like they want to protect whistleblowers if anybody want to come forward. I don't know about this. It just sounds like a setup to me, bro. And the whole thing with the whole fake alien invasion, and we have the Space Force. Nobody talks about that, man. That's real, bro. Listen, man. This is crazy to me, bro. You know? That guy, I don't trust that guy, bro. I got an issue with that guy, bro. We're going to get to the bottom of this. I know body language, human behavior, and this guy is supposedly a military government official, whatever. I don't trust this guy, dude. Does anybody know anything about reptilians? That's a whole different show. We could talk about reptilians from the Draco constellation. You know what I mean? Yo, this right here, this guy, this is a presentation of a lie to the people. That's what I feel when I look at this guy. The main guy right here with the red tie, the guy in the middle, dude, David Grush. I don't trust this guy, dude. I don't trust this guy, dude. I want to say go watch his interviews, man, but I almost don't want you to go watch his interviews, man, and think for yourself. Do you feel evaluate and taking the information he's saying and watch how he answers certain he wants look. This guy is an instigator. He be saying like he whistleblowing. He not whistleblowing nothing because every time they ask him a question, he said, I cannot answer that on the security. What the fuck is you talking about, bro? He's a plant, bro. I don't like this guy, bro. and he infiltrated the good people. That guy, Jeremy Corbell, good dude. He's got plenty documented. This motherfucker came out of left field. That David Grush guy, ain't nobody heard of him. All of a sudden he came out of left field, bro. People are placed in certain situations, man, to give you misinformation. That guy right there, I'm telling you, I don't trust him. Dr. Weir, so long. It took me, I trusted him, but I always keep a certain skepticism. I'm not gonna buy everything nobody says. But Dr. Weir has been so dedicated, man, and his research is so extensive. He used to be a surgeon, and he left being a surgeon to do this. Now that struck a nerve with me. I was like, okay, well, what a, but dude, the information that he brings is interesting. This guy, Jeremy Corbell, I met him after. I didn't meet him in person. I found out about him after. But his documentaries are very in depth, man. He actually he talks to people with accounts. You know what I mean? He actually goes out of his way, to listen to shit nobody wants to listen to. This motherfucker right here, bro, this David Grush guy, he infiltrated, man. I know he's a mole, bro. Look at his eyes, bro. I could tell a lying motherfucker, dude. This guy, and even this interview, you can hear the Congress asking him questions. He's like, well, I can answer that. Why the fuck is you here, bro? What are you whistleblowing on? What are you whistleblowing on, bro? You're just dangling an interesting carrot. Like, you don't got, every time he gets to the nitty-gritty and somebody asks him a specific question, he'll say, I cannot speak about that. We can talk about it in a skiff. And let me remind you, skiff is like a private thing. Like, it has to be approved by officials, and it has to be under secrecy, in separate, in private. It wouldn't be in the public. This motherfucker right here, gotta watch out for him, bro. I don't trust this guy. Somebody, bro. I'm telling you, man. That's crazy, bro. That is crazy. Whistleblower shit. Fuck out of here, bro. Listen, man, I think we're gonna continue this. When I watch this back, I'm glad my ideas keep coming, man, so we can look up some more topics, because we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going with a bunch of breakdowns and stuff like that. This is Larry Beach, man. Thank you for being here, man, listening to all my shenanigans. I know I'm just talking about, stuff that most people don't care about, but this is what we're gonna do here. We're gonna entertain the conspiracies, and we're gonna go down the rabbit hole. We talk about history, science, mathematics, all that stuff, man. You know what I mean? Let me put this guy. Hold on, man. I don't want you to forget about this guy, because this guy, that guy right there, bro, don't trust him, bro. That guy's a problem. I know there's something about that guy, bro. I know it, bro. Look at that interview. Look up that Congress meeting, and they made a big deal. They're like, oh, we're going to disclose this and that. Bro, since when they never disclosed nothing? It was BS. We did not get no news, bro. And that's what I'm saying, man. I'm telling you, man, all these treaties and stuff, man, you can do your history, man. You can find a lot of this stuff. I like to speak about this. This is what, you know what I mean? I like, and like I say, I'm not a flat earther, but I like that shit, bro. I entertain that. They got some good points, man. Talk about like we're under the firmament and whatever, and all this, like, the universe is not real. I don't believe in none of that, bro. I like to entertain. Did we go to the moon? That's a good question. And then when I say we went to the moon, we were chased out. That's another thing, dude. It's interesting, man. I believe, man, the dark side of the moon, our moon, bro, our moon doesn't move. It follows us. It faces us. There's ancient civilizations that have accounts, and they talk about when the moon wasn't there. That's interesting, bro. when NASA dropped a rover on the moon to test the Richter scale, that's the measurement that you can measure like earthquakes. They said that the moon rang like a bell for 45 minutes, which led them to believe that it was hollow. That shit, bro. There's accounts of pictures. They could be fake, but on the dark side of the moon, bro. Listen, this stuff Neil Armstrong said too, man. Which is funny. I like somebody said this. Somebody said this. What do you mean he was the first one? Who put the camera there? Now that could have been a drone because the technology is advanced. But that's an interesting question, bro. Why do all the craters in the moon are the same size deep? Huh? That's crazy. There's accounts and audio of astronauts talking about we're being watched. There's theories about how we were told don't come back. They tell you, and that's where that if we went to the moon is real. They tell you like, oh, so you mean to tell me like in the 1960s and whatnot, like we went to and we can't go to the moon right now, and they say, oh, the technology got erased. Yo, hold on, bro. What? That's crazy. Question everything, man. You know what's real? I know people right now hate this dude, man. I don't care. I'm not care. I'm talking about technology and stuff. NASA and the rockets and everything, dude. We were purchasing rocket engines from Russia, right? We don't anymore. You know why? Because of Elon Musk. They used to like him before. Now they don't like him, right? Because they want to choose sides. I don't give a fuck about none of that. Look at that, bro. Those rockets used to cost like millions of dollars, dude. Yo, are we kidding? Dude, are you watching this rockets land, dude? That is insane, dude. That is so cool, bro. And they're cheaper than what we were. Riddle me that. Is the money laundering, you know what I mean? And they land, bro. They come back and land, bro. It's insane, bro. It's so cool. NASA, we all know NASA was lying. NASA being scrubbed a bunch of photos from the station and the moon, but they fucked up a bunch of photos. That's why people catch them, right? You know the acronym for NASA is never a straight answer. Do you know that NASA was founded on the remaining scientists from the Nazis? Let's get real. Let's get real. That's gonna be a whole different show too, you know? Man, dude. Listen, there's so much we can dive into, man. There's so much stuff. One thing I want to get into is where we at here? Oh, I pulled this video. What was this video about? Oh, the ancient computer. All right, do we got time? Let me see. How long is this? Okay. All right. We'll take a chance. Okay. Because I was speaking about the ancient computer, right, that got found on the shipwreck and in the ocean. They didn't understand what it was. I forgot the name. I know the name, but I forgot. It was a round wheel, right? And they found it. They're like, what is this? Now, they used to use like different type of technology back in the day to navigate, like all those people on boats and stuff. Ask yourself, like, how these people manage to navigate? Like, how they manage to, like, they have certain things that we don't know about or not told about, right? There's one device that they found, and it's very interesting. It was a circular device that had gears and stuff. I looked it up right here. Hopefully, this is the one. Let's dive into this real quick. This is 12 minutes long. I don't think we need to get all the way deep, man. But I think they're gonna get into it. This has to be what I'm talking about. Hopefully it is. Otherwise, I'm gonna get pissed off. But they were able to. The other thing is that nowadays scientists, they duplicated it. So they duplicated it, and they made a replica of what it was after they were able to understand the components. And they said that it was a type of computer of those times, not the computer you and I know, you know what I mean? But it was a type of technology, sort of like an analog computer type of thing, if that makes sense, right? Here, let's get into this. Hopefully this makes sense, man. I hope I didn't grab a wrong video. Let's see. All right. Let's see what he says. Oh, we're muted over there. Hold on. We're muted. No. We gotta go back. Hold on. Okay. Let's go. Let's see.
Now, when they found that ancient Greek computer thing,
A rusty box pulled from the sea just rewrote history. Not a myth, not a guess. A real.
Okay.
It's over 2,000 years old, and it's smarter than you think. Gears, calendars, planet.
Okay, that wheel. Right here. This is what they found. Okay, this is what they found at the bottom of the ocean in a shipwreck, right? And nobody paid attention to it. They collected it and whatnot. It wasn't until years later that somebody started analyzing it. It's like, yo, this is more complex than what we think. They didn't know what it was. Now, I'm going to let them explain. It looks like they're going to explain it. This is fascinating, man. Let's hear this.
Years, calendars, planet trackers. The Antikythera mechanism is the oldest computer on Earth.
Very few of these have been found, and it may be that ship owners and navigators in Greek times.
Now, scientists say its mystery is solved. But that's not the good news. Because what it means changes everything. Lost knowledge, vanished genius. How did we go from this to the Dark Ages? Joe Rogan and Graham Hancock asked the same question. And their answer? It's chilling. The discovery, from shipwreck to shock. In 1901, a group of sponge divers were searching the waters near a small Greek island called Antikythera.
Producers, this plugin helps you finish your tracks way faster. Check this out. I'm going to start with this loop that I made here.
Okay, we'll skip this shit.
And I'm going to use co-produce.
I'll take your time right here. That's the name I couldn't remember. It is called the Kythera device or something, but that's the name. Remember Kythera. That is what they call it.
Other day at sea. They weren't looking for history. They were looking for sponges to sell. But then, something strange caught their eye. Beneath the waves was the wreck of an ancient Roman ship. It had been resting on the ocean floor for over 2,000 years. Inside the wreck, treasure. Statues, coins, jewelry. But one object didn't shine. It looked like a lump of rock and metal. Cracked, rusty, ugly. So, they ignored it. But in 1902, an archaeologist named Valerio Stace took a closer look. That's when everything changed.
During the years 1900 to 1902, a major expedition was mounted from Greece to pull up everything they could find.
He spotted gears, real gears, inside a chunk of ancient bronze. People thought it was a mistake, but it wasn't. It was real.
It was not recognized at all as being anything interesting when it was discovered. It was just a corroded lump about the size of a large dictionary.
This object was no statue. It was a machine. Later named the Antikythera mechanism, it would become the world's first known analog computer.
This was a spectacular device. It's an analog computer. It doesn't use digital. It uses wheels and gears. This was a device that we wouldn't see again for another 2,000 years until the 1800s.
Built by the ancient Greeks between 150 and 100 BCE, it was the first known computer. It could track the sun, the moon, planets, eclipses, and even the timing of the Olympic Games. It wasn't big, about the size of a shoebox, but it was packed with 30 bronze gears. Some were tiny, with teeth so precise that modern engineers were stunned. This wasn't a toy. It wasn't decoration. It was technology 2,000 years ahead of its time. And just like that, history cracked open. Something was wrong with the story we were told. The ancient world was smarter than we thought, but what else had they made? And why did it disappear? That's where the mystery deepens. What the mechanism actually is. At first, no one understood the Antikythera mechanism. It was too advanced, too strange. Scientists studied it for years and decades passed, but the mystery stayed locked inside those corroded gears. Then came X-rays, CT scans, and modern tools that let us see through the bronze without breaking it, and what they found shocked everyone. The mechanism was a machine built to track the sky. You could turn a small crank on the side. As it moved, the gears inside turned dials. Those dials pointed to the positions of the sun, the moon, and even the 5 planets known in ancient times: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. It could predict eclipses, show the phases of the moon, track the lunar calendar, even map the zodiac signs. On the back were spirals used to count years and cycles. One gear had exactly 223 teeth. That matches the Saros cycle, a pattern ancient astronomers used to predict eclipses. This wasn't lucky guessing. This was real science. There was even a tiny ball inside, half black and half white, that spun as the moon moved, showing it.
This is what we're talking about. Hidden history, information, technology. You know, because they try to tell you that they build the pyramids with like chisels and stuff, and they move like rocks with like they're sliding with potatoes and shit on wood logs. Get the fuck out of here, bro. You know, those are the times where there was giants. You know what I mean? Not only that, the technology, bro. If you dive into, we're gonna dive into that, the Anunnaki, the fallen angels, and the information that they gave people. You know what I mean? They gave people information about dark magic and technology. That's why. And then we get into the flood and all that stuff, bro. Listen, this is insane. Listen to the breakdown. This is a scientist today that took a long time to be able to scan this, duplicate it, and come up with their own shit as to like what it is. Bro, hidden tech, bro. There's so many hidden. You can look at history, bro. Oh, man. This is amazing.
Its phase. It's like someone took a planetarium, shrunk it down, and hid it in a shoebox. And here's the wildest part. It worked. The design was accurate. Better than anything else built for 1,000 years after. This wasn't just clever. It was genius. A level of precision that makes us ask hard questions. How did they know this? How did they build it? We thought ancient people were simple, but this device...
You piece of shit. Let's get rid of this commercial. Hold on, bro.
Proves they were anything but. And now it's time to talk about who noticed that first on a podcast known for strange truths. Joe Rogan and Graham Hancock's reaction. Fast forward to April 20.
I know everybody hates Joe Rogan. Everybody knows Joe Rogan. But Graham Hancock, man, go look at his stuff. Hancock he's so knowledgeable, bro. And Randall Carlson, that's the name, Randall Carlson. I forgot the other guy, Reed. He's the geologist that knows about the erosion of the Sphinx. Man, listen, you about to be blown, bro. That guy, let's go.
3rd, 2019. Joe Rogan is recording episode number 284 of the Joe Rogan Experience in his studio. Across from him sits Graham Hancock, the guy known for diving deep into lost civilizations and ancient mysteries. They start talking about something strange, something forgotten, something pulled from the bottom of the sea. The Antikythera mechanism. Graham calls it an ancient Greek computer, not a metaphor, but a real device with gears, dials, and a purpose. He says it tracked planets, predicted eclipses, helped sailors find their way, and maybe even told them where they were on Earth like an ancient GPS. Joe leans in. You can almost hear his mind spinning. He's amazed, shocked, even. He says what we're all thinking. How did they build this over 2,000 years ago? They talk about how advanced it is, how it shouldn't exist, and how no other machine like it has appeared for over 1,000 years. It doesn't fit our timeline, and it doesn't fit the story we tell about history. And then the mood shifts. Because if something this smart existed that long ago, what else was lost? Graham suggests the idea of forgotten knowledge, that maybe we once had brilliant minds, tools, and even machines, and then something wiped it all away.
Hidden knowledge.
Disaster, or collapse. Who knows?
Wait,
Joe
back.
doesn't argue. He's in. You can almost hear.
Go back. Go back real quick. Go back real quick.
Who knows? Joe
that?
doesn't argue. He's
I
in.
want to see this. I want to see
You
this
can almost
right
hear him whisper.
Right here, right here.
Who knows?
No. Go back. Wait, whoa. Because I want to point
All
this
away.
out. So this.
War.
Stop. Okay. So this. I'll revisit this, and I'll bring you the whole breakdown of this. This right here, what you see right here, is a whole underwater civilization. They try to say that it's natural, but then the further they go, they understand that during the planet shift, the axis shift, another civilization will sunk. There's so many of those around the world. So many of those around the world. I want you to see this right here. There's so many things, bro. I specifically want to bring up the one that is of the coast of Cuba. Man, listen, bro. Oh, my God. Oh, be ready, man. We're going to be talking about all the shenanigans, the rabbit hole with Larry Beast, man. Let's go, baby. Let's
Disaster
go.
or collapse. Who knows? Joe doesn't argue. He's in. You can almost hear him whisper. That's insane, man. It's not just about the gears anymore. It's about the big picture, what the mechanism means, what it says about us. And that's where it gets a little dark. Because now the mystery is solved, but the truth might hurt. Why solving it feels like a punch in the gut. You'd think solving a mystery this big would feel like a win. Scientists finally understand how the Antikythera mechanism worked. We figured it out. Game over, right? But something about it doesn't feel good. It feels heavy, like a punch to the gut. Because now we know how brilliant the ancient Greeks really were. We know they built machines that could track the stars, follow the moon, and even accurately map the sky. We're not guessing anymore. We've seen the gears, counted the
Bro, you can go to ancient civilizations, there's accounts. How did they know about the star system and placement? How did they know about constellations that we didn't know about? We found them like way years later. Man, my God, bro. This is why this is so important. There's a lot of, you know what they say, that the victor rewrites the history. There's a lot of stuff, man. Listen, when I say that they hide a lot of truth from us, they don't want you to know your true potential, man. This is what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? When they try to tell you that people was building stuff with, now there's no way. There's no way they were building stuff. Look at this. This is the best explanation for this is an analog computer. And this could track the stars, tell you eclipses, constellations, directions. This was like the closest thing that I could think of, and I know if anybody studied history from my time, it's called the sextant. It's an apparatus that they used to use to navigate back in the day. This is way too advanced for that, bro. This is what else are they hiding, bro? This is what I'm talking about, bro. This is what I'm talking about, bro. Explain that. And they say 2000. This is predictive. This is accordingly 2000. Yeah. We're in the 2000s. This is 2000. Bro. So if you go back, it's 2000 AD and BC, right? Right. So what the fuck are you? What? Bro. You gotta do your due diligence, man. Do the digging. This thing is insane. It's like it's not supposed to be there. How did who made this? The Greeks, right? And they talk about the Greeks. Now, there's a lot of things that came from the Greeks, languages and all that stuff and whatnot. Listen, man. Like, what else? What There's so much stuff, bro. Remember back in the day, there was wars and stuff. Like civilizations were wiped out. You know what I mean? Like think about nowadays. Like for example, I'll give you a prime example. The tsunami happened in 2011, I think it was. You know what I mean? Well, how many of those happened back in the day that they weren't accounted for? You know what I mean? How many earthquakes happened back in the day that nobody accounted for? So this is possible. It's possible. That's why you cannot to just simply deny the possibility of something. You gotta keep an open mind, man. Keep an open mind. You don't have to believe everything. Keep an open mind, because to simply deny the possibility of something, you're doing yourself a disservice. Hey, and that's from Einstein right there, bro. Equations and theories from Einstein that they didn't believe, they're being proved today. Dude, how the hell, bro? Just mathematics alone, bro. Man, there's so much more out there that we're not allowed. And a lot of people don't practice that. Everybody just want to live. Nobody wants to exercise their brain or think about nothing, bro. Most people just want to follow. They want to follow the culture, you know what I mean? They want to follow the cool club, you know? Oh, hey, I want to be in this club. Oh, you're not side because I'm over here. Fuck you. Man, stop it, bro. Stop it. My advice to you is be open, analyze, be able to listen to other people. You know what I mean? It's fine that you have an opinion, you're on that side. Be open. There's so many things that could revolutionize your mind, man. You know? So many things, man, as far as history, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, this is the truth. But you gotta stimulate your mind, you know what I mean? Be open to listen to different ideas, different thoughts, different side. Even if you're not, how would you it worries me when people just be on their side and they're like, oh, that's the enemy. Fuck them. Nah, man. I think, in my opinion, I go talk to the enemy, bro. If I have the opportunity, I'm not saying I'm gonna be friend, but you have to be able to have an open table, like, because you can't be manipulated. People get manipulated that way, bro. I know you heard that there's been so many things that have been hidden from us humans, man. There's so many things hidden history being changed. You know what I mean? Look at what's happening in today's world. And like, let me put an example, like in the 90s, the 80s. We're not in the same place, bro. So many things have changed. Yo, we're living in a crazy world right now, bro. Yo, you gotta watch your mouth. Bro. I was gonna say something, I'm not gonna say it, bro. I'll tell you this much. I'll tell you this. For example, nowadays, I identify myself as the, she, and it. All right, that's my identification. Don't wrong name me. The, she, and it. That shit, nigga. Yeah, hold this L. I can play, and I'm also I go by. I'm a Caucasian, Asian, Ethiopian American. That's me, bro. That's me, bro. That's me. See, that's what we're living today. Don't dare name me either, bro. Don't do it, because then you'll be offending me, bro. Do not. Respect me, bro. Respect me, bro. You know what I'm saying? Be respectful, man. Let's go back to history, bro.
Teeth match them to real astronomical cycles. It works. All of it works. And that's the problem. Why didn't it change the world if they had this tech level over 2,000 years ago? Why didn't it lead to something bigger? More machines? An early version of the computer? The telescope? The clock?
Yeah.
It didn't. After the Antikythera mechanism, the trail goes cold. For over 1,000 years, we see nothing like it.
Go back. No, commercial. Hold on. You gotta see the rebuilding, because they rebuilt it. Okay, they rebuilt
No upgrades, no copy.
Hold on 1 second.
For 1,000 years, we see nothing like it. It didn't.
Right here,
After the Antikythera mechanism.
Okay. Great. Okay. After they got a scan with you know, of it. They rebuilt it. Look at all the components. Now look, man. This is what's given to us. So when they broke it down, look at all these components in here, bro. And you heard the man say there was so many components. They didn't even know what was in the inside. They rebuilt this thing, bro. They actually rebuilt it without technology today. Oh, who the fuck built this shit, bro? Who had this shit, bro? They found it under the sea, dude. The dudes were looking for sponges. They found this. What the fuck? Bro. That's an analog computer, bro. Yo, everything. They could tell everything. Geolocations, placement of planets. I think he said 5 planets that they knew at the time. They didn't know it was a bunch of other at the time. Okay? It's insane, bro. This is awesome, bro.
The trail goes cold. For over 1,000 years, we see nothing like it. No upgrades, no copies. It's like this one machine shows up and then disappears. That's what hits so hard, because it means we lost something, maybe even everything. Maybe there were other devices, perhaps even smarter people. But something happened. A war.
Lost something. Oh, I think you're about to get into it. Lost something. Listen, man. I think that, in my opinion, now I'm just my opinion. There's, you know, like control of the masses. Like you always heard the part that they try to dumb us down. They have managed to do that. Maybe I was gonna exclude myself and act like I'm better. I'm not, bro. I'm in the same group. They dumb us all down. They separated us. They got us divided so we could be easily controlled. You know what I mean? They kept information from us. They rewrite history. A good example of rewriting history is look at dictionaries. Do a research on dictionaries, man. Dude, everything, bro. Change everything, bro. You know? Encyclopedias, you know. I think he's about to get into it. He says something happened, a war or whatever. Listen, I just think like the recess, right? Hey, I'm gonna add this. It don't got nothing to do with this, but I'm gonna add this. Like, how did the Library of Alexandria got burned? That was why does every time a country go to war, people don't know this? I'm gonna give you an example. People don't know this. They go grab all kind of museum, archaeological, all artifacts, right? And a good example is in Iraq. There was a big thing that happened. You can look it up because the first thing what they do. Okay. Oh man, this is gonna bring me into something else, bro. So I don't want to forget this because we're gonna bring it in. We're gonna bring it up. The Kandahari Red Giant is an account from military groups that came out and said that. Look, when you go into the mountains in Afghanistan, I'm gonna sound crazy, bro. I'm gonna sound crazy. There's actual pictures. They try to scrub them, man. I might have one. There's actual pictures of real tall people, which we call giants, right? If you go back in history, most of those Native Americans, Indians, and from they were tall. You can hear accounts and read accounts from now. Spaniards are just little people. They're tiny motherfuckers, bro. All right, but there was like tall giants, dude. There's accounts of like, I think Cortez. I don't know, man. I think it was Cortez that he met a tall native, and he thought he was the boss. And then he took him to his dad, and his dad was even taller than him. You know what I mean? There's accounts in the United States of burials that are found from tall people. All that got scrubbed, bro. Do you know anything about that? All that got scrubbed. Anything that the government, Smithsonian Institute is involved in, everything gets scrubbed, bro. So now There's the Kandahari Red Giant story. Look that up, bro. There's actual military people that talk about this. That's the only reason why I entertain it. And I've seen pictures, but this is before AI, you know. But you know, the accounts of historians and stuff that keep disappearing, that they say something and they disappear, bro. That's got something to do. The Library of Alexandria was supposed to hold a lot of information and stuff. They say that they burned it down. First, they robbed it. That's what happened. And then they burned it down and everything disappeared. They will tell you like a lot of history disappeared. That's part of rewriting history, bro. You know, I don't know if you guys know Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein was rebuilding an old historic site that he found. And by the way, for those who don't know, Iraq, that's Mesopotamia. If you know history, that's the old Mesopotamia, bro. And I want to do a whole show about this. They said that they got word that Saddam Hussein found some kind of ancient technology under an old archaeological place, and he was building it. He made it look like he was building it because he wanted to bring it back, but in reality, he was hiding something there. The United States and America went and got it, bro. It's supposed to be like a portal, and you can look this up. There's been places in the world where this kind of like circular places, things appear, and they find it. All of a sudden, they gone. They gone, bro. So that's interesting. I forgot the name of the temple he was building. He got like halfway through it, bro. But listen, dude, I'm not here caping for Saddam or nothing, bro. Listen, a lot of people get knocked off because of the information they find, and the power of B go steal it. You know what I mean? Think about the Chinese dynasty. They're well known for burying things, right? They well known for burying things, bro. They would just bury things, bro, to hide it. You know, I will talk about this. There's an ancient tomb from an emperor that they found, right? And according to, they're afraid to opening sealed doors. There's plenty of sealed doors around the world in cultures that you know, they with folklore, and they say they curse and whatever. But this particular one in China from this emperor said that it's got like a death trap, right? Like it's some kind of like oh my god, I can't remember. What's in the thermometers? What is that? Come on, what's that metal? It's a liquid. I don't know what it's. Man. Whatever. Apparently there's a deposit there, and he kind of like said that was, so he hid his riches in there, whatever, and that's his tomb. And people, they found it, and right now you can look it up. They're afraid to open it because everything correlates with what they said. You know, that if you open it and go in there, there's gonna be a disaster. Not like a curse. A lot of those are claim to be like curses. A lot of those are claiming to be holding like fallen angels. A lot of those are being claiming to be like openings to hell. It's interesting, bro. You know what I mean? But that's what I'm saying, man. Like what to think that they ain't hiding stuff? You think that's far-fetched? No, bro. Let's see what he says. The war. It looks like he's about to get into it. Let's see what he got to say about this.
A fire, a collapse, and the knowledge was gone, buried, forgotten, wiped out. That's why Graham Hancock calls it a warning. It's not just a cool gadget. It's proof that human progress isn't a straight line. We rise, we fall, we forget. So yeah, the mystery's solved. But now we're left with a bigger question. How did we let it slip away? The science behind the discovery. For a long time, the Antikythera mechanism was just a broken puzzle, a mystery in 82 corroded pieces. It sat in a museum, too fragile to touch and too damaged.
We've got passion, we've got determination. Like if we set our sights on something, you better believe it's happening.
Damage to understand.
Yeah, accordingly, they found it. They didn't think it was nothing. They put it in some kind of like, storage. It wasn't like till years later that somebody stumbled upon it. It's like, what is this? And started like studying it, whatever. They found all the mechanisms. They scanned it, found more shit. Yo, according to the year and like, how, bro? How?
Stand. But then technology caught up, and the real story began to unfold. In 2005, a group of scientists launched a full investigation. They used X-ray CT scans like the ones in hospitals, but more powerful. These scans could see through the metal without breaking it. They found layers of gears, tiny inscriptions, and patterns that didn't make sense until they did. Suddenly, things clicked. They saw 30 gears packed inside, some with tooth counts that matched known astronomical cycles. One gear matched the eclipse cycle exactly. Another tracked Venus over hundreds of years. It wasn't random. It was precise. Every gear and every turn had a purpose. Researchers teamed up with experts from all over the world.
Bro, these are scientists, bro. These are... Anybody could think this is a lie. These are scientists, bro. This is... Bro. My man. Oh, man. Whatever. Your opinion is your opinion. These are researchers and scientists. They use CT scans and stuff. Yo, I've been in one of those machines before, man. Yo, this is... Bro.
They built digital models and 3D reconstructions. They even found faded Greek writing etched into the surface, words no one had seen for thousands of years. Some of it described the movement of planets, and some listed cycles. It was a blueprint hiding in plain sight. In 2020,
thank you, Gorilla. I feel you, man. I get too excited. I have to stop myself. Thank you.
A team from University College London revealed the most complete model yet. They showed how the whole mechanism worked, every dial and pointer. It was a full cosmic calculator built centuries before modern science.
Ooh,
and here's the kicker.
Where he called it a cosmic calculator? Dude, that's insane. Because I've been saying like analog computer to explain it. He said it was a full cosmic calculator. That's great, bro. I'm loving this, bro. Let's go.
It wasn't fantasy. It was real. We've built working copies that prove it. But one question still haunts scientists. If they could build this, why did no one else? The Vanishing Act. Why there was no sequel. This is where things get strange. We now know the Antikythera mechanism worked. We know it was real. We've rebuilt it. We've proven the math. So why don't we see more of them? Why is there no second version, no upgrades, no other machines like it in history? It's like someone hit delete. Some experts say that war destroyed the knowledge.
See? I'm glad he said that. And like I said, this particular video, I didn't get all the way through. I'm glad. It's like somebody hit delete. It's what I've been telling you. There's so much, in my belief, this is my opinion, there's so much hidden knowledge from us, bro. It's like somebody doesn't want to allow us to grow and reach our full potential. That's why you hear about rewriting history and all that stuff. This is insane, man. Open up your mind, man. Just, looking for information, man. Look, man, I look crazy. Don't I look crazy? I look crazy for doing this, right? I don't care. Dude, this is like, it correlates so many things around the world, man. Like, it's insane. And we're going to do lots of breakdowns here. Dude, I'm telling you, we're gonna do lots of breakdowns, bro.
Around 146 BCE, the Romans took over Greece. Cities were burned, libraries destroyed. Maybe the people who built these machines were killed. Maybe their workshops were lost. If no one had passed the knowledge down, it could have ended up in a single generation. Others think the materials were the problem. Bronze was expensive and valuable. If a machine broke, people may have melted it down for weapons or statues. The knowledge might have survived, but the proof was gone. And then there's the idea that this machine wasn't for everyone. It could have been elite tech, a tool made for priests, astronomers, or rich navigators, something secret, something powerful, not meant to be shared. Some even wonder if there are more out there, still buried, lost in shipwrecks, sitting in museum boxes, misidentified as junk. In 2012 and 2015, more divers at the wreck site pulled up new pottery pieces, such as a bronze disc with a bull, which was not part of the mechanism, but proof that the wreck still holds secrets. What if the Antikythera mechanism wasn't alone? What if we just haven't found the others yet? That's the part that keeps you up at night, knowing we've solved.
Was that one of a kind? Do you think that was one of a kind? The Antikythera mechanism. I'm glad I was able to find out. That was good, man. Listen, yo, I'm telling you, man. The
secrets of its function hidden.
And now we have this one because I looked at the hold on, we didn't finish this one. Don't fuck it up, Larry. We gotta finish the pyramid thing. Hey, what's going on? Right. Okay, we gotta finish this one. We're going back. So look, because it ties into this because the big question that they raised right now, this was an Italian research team that used some kind of like radar penetration mechanism to like scan the earth, and they found this, right? I know anybody that was here before, you saw that I stopped it right here with the all-seeing eye, right? It's very interesting. Look at that technology from the Antikythera mechanism. Look at what we're talking about, who built the pyramids, all the theories that they have. Now it's showing, according to this changes everything because it shows they're showing us and telling us that the pyramids, at least the Khufu pyramid in Giza, the main one, the Khufu pyramid, is sitting on some type of rods, right? And the rods go all the way down. It's about 2 kilometers. And they sit on certain blocks, right? Dude, that's a different type of building, right? If you look at the legend of Thoth, it says that there's a hidden library down there that contains all the information about human history. I said that I wouldn't be surprised if that's gone because thieves have been ripping everything from the pyramids for a long time. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if those people behind that and they already knew, right? Look, but it doesn't change the fact of the structure in the building, and especially the guy, the engineer, the electrical engineer, that said, because we told that it was a tomb, bro. That looks like a lot of building and a lot of work just to be a tomb, and they never found nobody's in there. There was nobody's in there. They found cases that they call sarcophagus. There was nothing in there, right? The guy, the engineer guy, the electric engineer guy said, yeah, this looks more like a power plant. Now that was interesting. That was interesting because how it was built, how it generates and conserves vibration, the chambers that it has, the pockets. You know, it's interesting because the way he explained it was like, it would like form some kind of energy, and it would not only that, those pyramids are placed in power grids around our world. You know, they're sitting on power grids. Not only that, they're aligned with stars. So all this stuff is kind of freaky already. What kind of shit these motherfuckers knew, bro? Like, you know, if those rods are that's crazy, bro. Because what did they know? This machinery right now that we have, they try to move stones like that, and they can't. Our machinery don't work, bro. And you can go over there, bro. There's actual people with measurement things. Like, dude, it's too perfect. That doesn't make any sense, bro. Look at the carvings that they did of the pharaoh. is symmetrically perfect. That's insane, bro. Okay? This is revolutionizing, because if this is true, they say it goes 2 kilometers down, and it represents coils and stuff. Bro, man, listen, because, man, that's why you absorb information, you know? This is insane, bro. Then the theory goes out the way, bro. Who the fuck built this shit, bro? Are you gonna tell me? You gonna tell me that? And there's a theory of, because it's close to rivers and water and stuff, because, the hydro, and it was used for the energy. Dude, listen. I love this. Bro. I love this. So what do we got here? Let's go back to the pyramid, see what he says. We stopped here because I was talking about the all-seeing eye and whatever they had before. I forgot. But let's go back to this, man. Man, this is so cool, bro.
Within the symbology of the occult and mainstream society for years. Its specific coordinates established on maps far later, not a coincidence, as if the eye of providence, the light within one's head, projected forth, defined and created by...
One last time, sorry. I forgot about this. The mathematics according to the position of the pyramids and how it correlates to the size of the earth, the circumference, and where they're located. Like, all that is very important. Next time I'll probably have something that will break it down. It's insane. How could all that be matching? How could all that be matching out of coincidence, right? Nah, bro.
By the observer, a reality far from real. One built rather on concepts such as infinity rather than solid truths. Yet one we find ourselves in today. Yet, I digress. What is this thing hidden beneath the Great Pyramids? Are there more? Why are there these structures on nearly every continent? Why were they hidden for millennia? Do the powers that be know what the Great Pyramids truly are? Is it merely just a...
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't even know they're going to show this. Look at these are pyramids in different parts of the world. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. Somewhat different designs or whatever, but it's very interesting, dude. The similarities between this strategically placed structures around the world that we call pyramids. And let me tell you, we found pyramids underwater, and we found pyramids hidden in the ice. All right. Specifically, the two that I want to talk, the Black Pyramid in Alaska, that is underground, and it's made out of some kind of material that they don't know about. And the one that is 3 times the size of the Khufu Pyramid of Egypt in Antarctica. Oh, we're going to break that down. Hell yeah, baby. Woo, let's go.
Matter of time before this truth is established beyond doubt. Was this news merely released now to set us on the right track, knowing this realization inevitable? We will keep you posted on further developments surrounding this newly claimed discovery. We find the possibilities highly compelling.
One second. You said 1 kilometer under the pyramid. This is a straight gorilla. Hey, they say those pillars go down 2 kilometers, bro. You know, this is a new discovery. So I'm not sure what you're talking about, but they said those pillars are 2 kilometers. And I don't know if you can see the bottom of it. They sit on square pillars. So like, I mean, this is a rendition of the scan that they did. So, we yet to find out, but this is fascinating, dude. All right.
Compelling.
Since the rediscovery of what is unquestionably the most puzzling, astounding, and enigmatic site on Earth, the Great Pyramids and the Sphinx of Giza, we have been led to believe that what could be described as an astonishingly accurate yet somewhat vandalistic later addition was once put there by a caliph named Al-Mamun. Now popularly known by its coined title, Al-Mamun's Forced Entrance. This title, although argued as his work, has a pretty compelling tale attached to its possible original purpose. When one actually looks into what an incredible achievement this tunnel once was, it becomes apparent that it was cleverly bored by an ancient people, far more advanced than a 9th century caliph. Additionally, possible hypotheses have been put forth as to its origins by individuals who may have known of entrances into the pyramid. We in the modern world have either lost knowledge of or have been prevented from knowing about their existence. Hinged doorways made of stone, perfectly counterbalanced to allow an average-sized man to open and close them. Doorways along the structure's north face that, when closed, become seemingly indistinguishable from its surroundings. Are there still secret entrances along the pyramid's northern side? Quote, "The Great Pyramid, a little way up on one side, has a stone that may be taken out, which being raised up, there is a sloping passage to the foundations." End quote. Written by Strabo in Pyramids and Temples of Giza, Flinders Petrie. Yet regardless of these additional, highly compelling investigative leads put forward in addition to an explanation for the tunnel's existence, its remarkable accuracy remains a tough thing for supporters of academia's tale of events to explain. As author Ralph Ellis puts it,
Okay. We ain't talking about no author. I don't know that guy. I never heard that name. Listen, and that's according to who? Because what's coming out right now, that depiction right there, they added. You see that little thing in the middle right there, the one that says number 10? If you look at the other one, they added like it's like 5 of them in total. And then not only that, the one scientist that drove the little RC car found another chamber in there. Who knows what's in there, right? And I don't even want to talk about authors and whatever. I want to show the new discovery of what was going on, because at the same time, man, like that's what's fascinating, bro. Is it real? There's so many accounts in history talking about what's hidden under the pyramids. Why are they so protective? Look at the Egyptologists, bro. There's so many people that have been banned. The one guy, I forgot the name of the guy, but he's a hater, bro. He just doesn't allow nothing, right? Only himself or whatever. And everything's coming out, bro. But I do believe, because how they say, I'm gonna reiterate. The first time they got into the big pyramid, the Great Pyramid, they didn't come in through the right door. They blew themselves in, and it was people trying to loot. That's how they looted everything. They took all the, So I wonder, like, how much is missing out of that was allowed to be stolen, and what are they hiding? According to accounts, man, there's a lot of
quote,
shit. Hey, man,
"The main
stop.
problem."
There's a lot of stuff over there, bro. And I believe that, man. I believe, like, we're not being told. Hey, chill out, bro. There's a lot of hidden knowledge. Oh, what you said? What'd you say, bro? Hey, bro. What? Anybody but black people build the pyramids. This, hold on. If people build the pyramids, they have to be black, bro. You can't, in that part of the world, you ain't gonna be. That's the same thing about Jesus. They show you Jesus is white. Jesus what? That, bro. It's only people with melanin over there, bro. I don't believe people build the pyramids. That's what I'm saying. And if people build the pyramids, then that correlates to there's ancient technology that was available that they hiding from us. I think, like, they hiding the truth, right? They keep telling you that they built this shit with chisels and shit. Get the fuck out of here, dude. It's too perfect. It's too perfect, dude. If it was people, there was some kind of technology available. Dude, the machinery, they compare like people, professional people say like there was some kind of machine. There's like holes drilled into stone. Too perfect, bro. And the coils show that there was some kind of this is crazy, bro. It doesn't make any sense. If it was people, they definitely black people. Sorry, bro. In that part of the world doesn't have white people, bro. It's people with melanin, bro. You know what I mean? It's ancient Kemet, bro. We call it Egypt. It's ancient Kemet. That's the original name, bro. A lot of the history of those people is insane because they say like they came after and they added, and you can see with the structures, older structures and newer things that they added. So it makes sense. Is it true? I don't know, but it kind of makes sense. You know what I mean? Catastrophes and things, taking civilizations out. When you think about like reset, the earth resets. Think about the floods. A lot of cultures around the world have an account of a flood. They always why something gotta be, you know what I mean? Too many cultures can be talking about the similar thing and not be right. All the pyramids. Why is it gotta resemble a pyramid? Where'd that come from? Do you know that in the Grand Canyon they found ancient Egyptian artifacts and structures, and they don't tell the people? Why is that, bro? Why is that? All the pyramids are placed in geographical magnetic fields of the earth. Why is that, bro? There's a lot of things, bro. You gotta question it, bro. Like, don't just buy what they say. This is why this is, you know what I mean? They told us that it's a tomb, bro. And I told you how the guy, the engineer guy, was saying it was more like a plant. Look at those coils now represent some kind of plant, man. And there's water running underneath that, bro. There's water under there, bro. Dude, this is crazy, bro. It's interesting. I love this stuff, bro. History accounts, like we'll be talking about that stuff, man. As we go deep down the rabbit hole, man. The Egyptian culture is very interesting, man. You know what I mean? All that stuff is very interesting, man. As far as like too, how like I go as far as like cats. They had an infatuation with cats. I'll tell you something about cats. I had cats. There's something about cats that a lot of people don't think about, dude. Why do cats have reptilian eyes? Why do big cats around the world in the jungle and stuff don't have the same eyes, bro? Huh? Why do cats are the only ones that hiss like a reptile snake? Huh? I had to say snake because you said reptile, but you wouldn't know what I was talking about. Snakes are the only ones that hiss. They got snake eyes. Their eyes change like a snake. They have reptile. We do too. They say we have like a reptile. I don't know. What do they say? A reptile. Something about humans that we have like a reptile, something in us, but not like that, bro. Ask yourself that. How come lions, tigers, leopards, panthers, all the big cats don't have the same eyes? Why did domestic cats, and what was, so which bring me to this. What was the Egyptian infatuation with cats? They even mummified them, dude. You know what I mean? Let me tell you, there's something here, bro. Cats hiss like a snake, bro. Think about this, bro. See? Bro, I got a bunch of shenanigans we can talk about, man. Dude. Oh my God. Listen, bro. I gotta keep this. Okay. Telepathy. I believe you, bro. I can believe that. I'm telling you, the Egyptian culture is very fascinating, dude. And that thing about cats is very interesting, bro. And then when you look at the hieroglyphics and what they represent over there, the creatures and stuff, very interesting, bro. And there's a lot of accounts that just go into that. All right. Listen, straight gorilla, bro. I appreciate your comments, bro. Hey, listen, I'm gonna be breaking down all kinds of things, man. I'll be back. This is gonna be the end because I gotta learn to keep this. Look, I'm at 3 hours and 26 minutes. I can keep going, bro. But listen, I want to make sure I bring the right proof and research and stuff so we can actually elaborate and talk about it. Thanks to everybody for coming through. This is probably gonna be the end of my show. At this point, I usually do my outro. Let me make sure I'm ready. I'll be back with another topic. We're gonna do history, breakdowns, conspiracies, aliens, flat Earth, the universe, all that stuff, bro. What we going out with? I think I have something right here.
Problem with the classical explanation.
Stop that research right there. I like that. That was very good. I like that. I don't want to keep Okay, I got it. Okay, thank you to everybody that came through, man. It's your boy Larry Beats, man. This is a small channel. I get it's a dry channel. I don't care, man. We're gonna grow our community, man. We're gonna be talking about, history. We're gonna break down documentaries. We're gonna talk about conspiracies. We're gonna talk about science, mathematics. We'll talk about folklore. You know what I mean? We're gonna try and just have interesting conversations to stimulate the mind. Now, mind you, a lot of this stuff, just because I like to bring documentaries and proof because just so I can break it down. A lot of this stuff, who knows if it's true, but at least it's interesting. And I prefer professionals breaking it down because I can sit here and tell you a bunch of stuff, and be like, yo, where'd you get that from, Larry? You know what I mean? But I'm fascinated. This is the stuff I love. Inner Earth. We gotta talk about Hollow Earth at some point. We gotta talk about all the inner sun, species of the world, the hominids that they found, in certain places, studies. Hey, scientists just literally brought back. It was some kind of feline. I forgot the name. They cloned an extinct feline from old DNA. Wasn't it? Yeah. And I believe that there's two of them. It's a female and a male, and they're in the process of creating two more so they can. No, it wasn't felines. It was dogs. It was some kind of wolf, right? It was some kind of wolf, and also they're speaking about they got the necessary. This is crazy, bro. They got the necessary research to. They want to clone and bring back a mammoth. This is the world we live in right now, bro. Where they can bring back an extinct race, bro. Bro, yo, this is nuts, bro. This is Jurassic Park. This is and that brings me. You know how they say, like, they tell you things in movies that they actually do, and they tell you they hide the truth in plain sight. That's crazy right there, bro. This is proof they want to, bro. They say that they have the DNA. The closest relative to a mammoth, an extinct woolly mammoth, is a Indian elephant. And they have the necessary materials, and they want to. They're gonna do it, bro. Yeah, I was thinking it was felines. They got wolves, some type of wolf species. I can't remember the name. Bro, we're gonna talk about this, bro. Yo, listen. We're at 3 minutes. We're at 3 hours and 31 minutes. I get too excited. I gotta learn to keep this to a minimal. Yo, this is gonna be the end of my show. Thank you, everybody, for coming through, man. Hey, subscribe to my channel. Drop me a like. Hey, drop me a comment. If you got an idea of something that you want me to research, drop it in the comments, man. I'll look it up, man. You know what I mean? I'm interested in all kinds of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? With that said, man, just let me know, man. Drop me a like or a dislike. It doesn't matter, bro. I'll be back to entertain and break down some more documentaries and stuff, so we can talk. You know what I mean? With that said, man, this is my outro. We're gonna end the show right here. It's your boy Larry Beach, 247 from the Rod Money Crew, man. Dirty Mitten Boys, Dirty Denim Squad. Now leader, founder, and creator of the Guana Iguala Koala Coalition, man. Holla at your top koala, man. Come by, man. Let's have a chat, bro. We're gonna be breaking all this stuff down, man. Thank you for coming through, man. Everybody, man, hold this L. Yeah, man.
Uno. Remix. Me levanto, me miro en el espejo. Que me veo. Me miro de arriba abajo. Y a veces ni me lo creo. Y pile de gente criticando por todo lo que me he buscado. Y eso que no tengo nada, por lo que Dios me tiene guardado. Y sufrí, fue mucho lo que lloré, fueron muchos los tropezones. Y yo caí pero me levanté. Ahora me paro en un balcón y con vista frente al mar, gozando de mi progreso antes de que llegue mi funeral. Quizá mi vida dure poco, sé que todo tiene su final, pero mientras esté de pie, y un poquito le voy a bajar. Y si tengo aceite, mala mía. Cuando yo cogí lucha, yo no te veía, bro. Si tengo aceite, mala mía.
Subscribe to Larry Beats.
Cuando yo cogí lucha, yo no te veía. Hablaron de mí, se rieron de mí. Y ahora yo los saludo desde el VIP. Riéndome, burlándome, tapando botellas con pila de cuero, trepado en la mesa tirando dinero, riéndome, burlándome del sistema.
Was that Mama's Tunnel?
Lo mato de lejito como Rey Miller. Tú pasas por mi casa y pareces un dealer. Y yo sé que les duele verme bien la movie. Un día estaba abajo y de momento sube. Y le pasé por lado, ahora vivo burlado. Dios bendiga a todo aquel que se me haya virado, porque papá Dios nunca me dejó tirado. Y todo el que no servía lo sacó de mi lado. Están esperando que me quite el chaleco, para darme plomo como dice secreto. No me dejo a nadie, yo con nadie me meto, pero tampoco me voy a dejar falta de respeto. Si tengo aceite, mala mía. Cuando yo cogí lucha, yo no te veía, bro. Si tengo aceite, mala mía.
Gracias. Thank you. Gracias.
Cuando yo cogí lucha, yo no te veía, bro. Tengo una herida dentro de mí que no se sana. Pila de pana que ayudé cuando eran ranas. Pensaron que se me hubiera acabado la lana y se me viraron por nada. Y yo viviendo a lo Tony Montana, comprando todo lo que me da la gana, llevándome de aquel que tiene carne y yo con dinero de más. Ahora me dicen coheta, sí, cambiando como me leo.
It's your boy.
Que tengo un dealer todos los días con un carro nuevo.
Yeah, man.
De tu jeva yo soy el jevo. Vivo mi vida tranquilo y sin pararle a ningún mamá. Soy de uno, no de dos, y mi mano alzo. Sé lo que se siente estar rodeado de pana falso. Soy de uno, no de dos, y mi mano alzo. Sé lo que se siente estar rodeado de pana falso. Este es para los que se viraron. Atención,
yeah, man. It's your boy Larry B. 247
que
to the
Dios
Rob
lo
on the crew.
permita. Indiga
30
secreto.
minute boys, 30 minutes. Ojalá ellos están guala, man.
Marineros somos.
Knock it down.
Real Guerrero Remix. En el mar andamos.
Yeah, man.
Para los verdaderos y reales guerreros. Lo encontramos en el camino. Shadow. Towers. Carbon Fiber Music.
Uvas. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you. The price of the brick went up, baby.
Baby, cause I'm ballin'. Yeah. Baby, cause I'm ballin'. Yeah. Mommy's with the Jordans. Yeah. Feel like I'm a star, yeah. Why she let me go? No. Yeah. Baby, cause I'm ballin'. Yeah. So please don't get me started. Yeah. Baby, cause I'm ballin'. Bombing with the Jordan. Baby, cause I'm ballin'. Need some cash, oh well, that's every day. Well done steak with eggs and cheese, my favorite plate. That bitch come down damn near every single day. Baby, cause I'm ballin' in a major way. Drop another bomb like this like every day. Say a prayer for my niggas that ain't gone. You turn up drinking, wishing you was home. Yeah, I swear I seen your face the other day, I'm gone. We was just two niggas broke as fuck but fly. Baby, now I'm ballin' and I'm getting high. Bummies with the Jordans for my baby, yeah. Damn, it's getting cold, I forgot it's meal, damn. Yeah. Baby, cause I'm ballin'. Yeah. Bummies with the Jordans. Yeah. Feel like I'm a star, yeah.
I see you on the top.
Why she let me go? No. Yeah, baby, cause I'm ballin'. Yeah, so please don't get me started. Yeah, baby, cause I'm ballin'. Bombing with the Jordan. Baby, cause I'm ballin'. Got my bumming jeans and Jordan sneaks. She keep teasing me, then she gon' get that D. Bro harassing me, he said she bad for me. Smoke a blunt on two on top my balcony. Baby's calling cop, say I'm growing weed. Dress swinging, looking like I'm curing weed. Baby, back that ass up, come on, trade for me. I'm Willie D, I'm 23, don't need a D. Check the record, think I ain't no felony.
On the way out.
Dropped out of college,
Thank you for
that
coming
shit
through.
wasn't really for
Appreciate
me.
you.
Started making music cause it worked for me.
I appreciate you.
Hopping out of coupe with that boss P. Baby, cause I'm ballin'. Baby, cause I'm ballin'. Yeah, mommy's with the jar.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, feel like I'm a star, yeah. Why she let me go? No. Yeah, baby, cause I'm ballin'. Yeah, so please don't get me started. Yeah, baby, cause I'm ballin'. Bombing with the Jordan. Baby, cause I'm ballin'.
Hey, you know about this bitch, man. All this L. Thank you for coming through. It's your boy Larry, man. 247 Ride Money Crew, man. I'll see you at the top. Come on. I'll see you at the top. 1.